What it do, family? It's your brother Max at the Don, aka Akhenaten, aka Tutankhamen, aka Tahuti son, which means I shine through the wisdom. And tonight, let's have a conversation as family. Let's just discuss some things. Because there's a lot of issues going on within the black community, but none bigger at this point in time than other people within our own community running back and spreading either false information or talking bad about their own community to someone that doesn't look like them. And let me tell you why this is a problem. Back when we were going through situations such as civil rights and we were fighting for our freedom as descendants of slaves in this country. But in our eyes, we didn't look at it as that. We looked at it as civil rights. And how civil rights have taken what we fought for and bastardized it. And what we're fighting for and continue to bastardize it. I say that to say this. Black empowerment is about uplifting the black community, putting us on a scale that we're supposed to be on due to the fact that we built this country. Due to the fact that if it wasn't for the slaves who built this country, there would be no access for any immigrant to come here to benefit from that wealth that was built by our people. It also says that no one in this country, white, black, or otherwise, has a more substantial claim to anything in this country than the descendants of American slavery. Now, all that said, to say this. When we had these groups, these black empowerment groups, because there were many black empowerment groups, whether you know it or not, it wasn't just the Black Panthers. It wasn't just Martin Luther King civil rights movement going on. It wasn't just Malcolm X's. It was a variety of different black organizations who would come together and work together, not all of them, but for the majority of for the majority of it, it was a lot of black organizations getting together. That's what grassroots is. That's what the black grassroots is. And the way that you dismantle the black grassroots and the way that they have been dismantling the black grassroots is by sending in people that look like us to undermine what we are fighting for us. Sending in people who say, yeah, I'm for your movement, and then turn around and then run to the white media and talk about the movement. Who says, yes, I'm for your movement, but then turn around and they run to the white folk to solve black issues, when the only thing that they need to solve is the disparity that they cause. Come on now. And the only thing that they need to solve is the inequity that they created. The doors of the church are open and welcome to exactly what we need to talk about today, which is what's being on code and how to tell if a person isn't being on code. How to tell an agent within your grasp, in your mittens. How to be able to point out terms and key words that these same people that look like us but has the mind of a white man, like Get Out, how to call them out, how to catch those phrases, how to catch that mental issue that they have of self-hate and the envy of the oppressor. And there's one man that knows how to capitalize on this better than anybody else especially within the hip hop community. Know how to capitalize on the people that look like us but think like him. And even if they don't think like him all the time, he knows how to bring up situations in such a way to make it seem as if they think like him. Who am I talking about? Well, family, we're talking about the culture vulture himself, Vlad TV. See, one thing that a lot of people don't understand about Vlad is that Vlad selects and almost perfectly selects what goes viral for him. He knows how to take controversial phrasing or controversial interviews and clip them to the point where he can put his name somewhere and make money off of it. This isn't new. This isn't new. This is the same thing that dude that's running Def Jam or who's running YouTube right now, Logan, whatever the hell his name is. Same thing that he did when he was messing with Rockefeller. Freaking culture vultures. But for some reason, our people can't wait to run back to this man for some dumbass reason and talk shit about our own people. So we're going to talk about a few of these people today. Well, a couple of them, not a few, because I'm not even going to spend that much time on these people. Now, one I will spend more time on than the other because one, I kind of feel like it has to be addressed on the things that he's not understanding that we're trying to bring to his attention. Or maybe he is understanding, maybe he is understanding, but he is deliberately trying to throw a wool over everyone's eyes to make it seem like, well, that can't possibly be it. So we're going to talk about both of these people today. And the first one, you probably already know who it is. DJ Academics did an interview with this man, the culture vulture. Now, and here's another thing too. I get tired of all of these people. Do you know how many people I've contacted trying to do interviews with them, trying to get some sort of freaking black platform set up to where we can freaking have conversations with each other and not with the other people so that we can build for ourselves as well as fight for everything that owed to us? Do you know how many people will ask, what's the pay? Do you know how many people who are famous, who have money, ask, what's the pay? Now, let me explain something to people who don't know this. When you do interviews, you are not paid for them. But I find it hilarious and troubling that whenever a black man comes to another black man or a black woman and say, hey, I want to build something, I would love to interview you, the first thing that they go about doing is asking what the pay is. Or they throw out some freaking what is it? Something that basically sends you into a loop. Sheila Jackson Lee. Oh, contact me here and we can get this popping. And then when I contact you to do a real interview, to get your side of the story, to speak to you directly, to get it from the horse's mouth, now there's all kind of issues and the interview has to be canceled. There is so many people that do this in our community. And not all of them are descendants of slaves of this country. Not all of them are descendants of the slaves that came from this country that built this country, and that just has to be said. That's just have to be said. So, academics love to go on and do a bunch of dumb shit. That's why I'm not spending much time on him at all. But what he said has to be addressed. And as a person who's unique when it comes to my background, my mother being from an immigrant background, technically it would be considered immigrant to the United States. But on my mother's side, we are literally a Taino, a native, Carib, or whatever you want to call that. Griffina. And on my father's side, my grandfather's grandmother was on the plantation that gave us our last name, which is Carter. So I have a unique perspective on both sides because I see one end and I talk to my people on my mom's side about things. And then I talk to people on my dad's side about things. And it's funny how people on my mom's side of the spectrum, I can literally break down why certain things like the situation of ADOS only, foundational blacks only getting reparations in this country. But there's a there's a transformative black agenda that will help everyone. They can understand the lineage situation better than the people that built the country themselves. On my father's side, the politics of it, because some people just don't like to talk politics. They were raised and they were freaking breeded in a way where politics seems bad, and only thing you want to talk about when you get together around family is football and bullshit and other family members and what they're doing or not doing. So I have this unique perspective. And I'm going to give it to you. But we're going to listen to Vlad for this whole broadcast. You're going to get some Vlad in there. Because we're going to go through a few videos and we're going to talk about them. This isn't about Vlad, though. It's about the people that's interviewed who don't stay on code when it comes to being interviewed by a culture vulture. So let's go into this video. It's 4 minutes long, so we're going to go through it. We're going to chop it down. We're going to break it down. We're going to analyze it, and we're going to motherfucking put it into different sectors. Because sometimes you got to segregate what a person is saying to see what the real truth of the matter is. Let's go.
Going to college was a fresh start because nobody knew each other, and I got a chance to put my personality out there, right? They didn't look at me as just, oh, this is an immigrant. I was just Livingston, right? My first year didn't do as well. It's the first time in my life I never did well academically, but I was enjoying myself. Second year, I'm like, yo, I got to figure this shit out. I meet with this counselor. And we had to pick because all I took was hard science classes and hard math classes. And I think I failed one of the science classes. It's like organic chemistry. And the only thing that matched was this major at Rutgers University called biomathematics, and I picked that. And the whole goal was, I'm not leaving this fucking college without a career that will guarantee me $100,000.
Right.
That's the only thing that my parents will actually be proud of me about.
Yeah.
If I come out here and I'm a social worker making 40, 50 grand, they're going to look at me and say, why the fuck did you do that?
Yeah, in any degree.
So let me just touch on what he just said right there. First and foremost, so academics, which I didn't know, he's an immigrant. Kingston. He just said it himself. This is actually the first time that I've heard this. Because I don't check up on academics that much. DJ Academics is a fucking coon. He's always been a coon. He sit here, he does all the coonish things in order to get white people around him to understand that he's a coon, that he could be trusted as a fucking coon. You can go and tell him I said it. So when it comes to DJ Academic, don't nobody take this nigga seriously. DJ Academic is a fucking fool. He's a scum. He's the dirtiest part of dirt. The dirtiest part of dirt. The side of dirt that dirt don't even want to see. But of course, what does he do? He wants to go on and talk about how he wanted to make his parents proud, which most people do. So his thing is, I don't want to leave this college without getting a degree. It's something that's going to make me $100,000 or more. That's the only way my parents would be proud of me. And here's another thing about immigrant parents too. And I'm not speaking on my own per se because this wasn't my experience, but I do have a lot of friends who are immigrants in other areas where they are not mixed into the descendants of American slavery. I have other immigrants who are friends who are not even the color of the descendants of American slavery. And each and every one of them tend to have the same issue is, how do I make my parents proud? Their parents tend to want them to make more money, more money, more money. That's what success is in the immigrant's parents' eyes. And if you aren't in a career, and if I'm wrong, any of the immigrants that's listening to this, y'all can go into the comments and just call me a liar all you want to. But anyone that's real is going to be able to tell you 100% that this is true, especially with Asian parents. With Asian parents especially, because they have a set career for you before you even decide to go into that set career. And if you decide to do something different, they won't even look at you the same until you prove that what you decided to do different is just as profitable as what they wanted you to do. Let's be very clear about that. A person who fights to get their parents' approval will be able to tell you this. The majority, hell, this isn't even just immigrants. Let's be honest. White people across the country. When you have a child, especially if you built something, right? Let's talk about these corporatizers who built these corporations and then they want their children to follow in their footsteps and then they decide not to. And what do their children end up doing? They end up choosing a different area or saying, you know what, I want to find myself. And what do those parents end up doing? They end up either cutting those children off. When it comes to the wealth end, okay, you want to find yourself, you're going to find yourself without money. Or they allow them to do it, in hopes that at one point in time, they're going to come back to them and say, you know what, Dad, I'm ready to work our family business. Because nepotism doesn't just apply to people who hire their family members. Nepotism, the whole goal of it is to actually build something to pass down to your family. That's what nepotism is supposed to really be. If we're defining what nepotism is, the people who pass down the businesses to their family without them knowing what the hell they're doing are putting you under a family member, their son, even though their son ain't worked there as long as you. That's all nepotism is. And it isn't quietly a bad thing. Nepotism can be a great thing, a wonderful thing when it's used in a proper way. So for black people, nepotism is necessary as of right now. And a lot of people don't even want to bring that up. It's required for me to build something to give to my child because by the time my child is my age, ain't going to be shit for them because of people like this. So let's be clear on that. Also, let's be clear on the fact that he said that he wants to make he wanted to make over $100,000. That's the only way. I want to leave with a degree that guarantees. There's no degree that guarantees you for shit. As a black man, as a black woman, no degree guarantees you for shit. At me if I'm wrong. Come at me if you got a problem. Because ain't nobody going to tell me I'm lying. Do you know how many doctors out here with degrees? Broke. Living from paycheck to paycheck. Do you know how many lawyers out here? Broke. Damn near about to freaking go into the streets. You know how many accountants? You know how many contractors? Do you know how many audio engineer techs, which I have a degree in? There are areas in every situation where there's a black person or black people who ain't making a dime off of that degree. I'm in a special spot because music is a whole nother situation when it comes to building wealth, because I can always grab somebody and make something off of my degree. Because there'll always be somebody that wants the know that I have. But when it comes to a lot of other degrees, and there's a lot of degrees that fall under that category in which I just said, music engineering, audio technology, engineering, that literally is a place where you can build your own off of what you know. And every degree is something that you can build your own off of what you know. But guess what? Not everybody's going to have the balls to stand up and go build their own off of the degree that they just got from these white folk when they're not getting any white clients. Let's be real. A lot of people want these white degrees so they can pull in white clients to give them that wealth that they look for. Oh, let's talk about it. Let's get back into this.
Degree with the word mathematics in it will get you about 100K.
Yeah. And also you could use it later if you did want to go to like med school or something.
Yeah, med school, if you want to go into computer science, if you want to go into, chemistry, whatever else, like all this, the mathematical basis will help you overall. And I mean, that's how I felt also when I went to college. It's like, I'm not here to fuck around. Like I got my chance to go to Berkeley, and I'm gonna make this degree count.
Now let me be very clear about this too. This man I can't speak for because I don't know the man Vlad. All I know is his actions. But when he says that, when I got to college, I was like, I ain't about to fuck around. I can almost guarantee you that's bullshit. I can almost guarantee you that that's bullshit. Why? Because he's a white dude. And most white dudes, from my experience in college, and I'm in college now, and 10 years ago when I chose to go around and not go to college so I can actually gain the knowledge, the street smarts, and everything else outside of college, I was still in a college setting doing that. I was still smarter than college professors. My ex-fiance, she lived in Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara College is the #3 party school in the country. What is the predominant percentage of ethnicity in that school? Do anybody know? It's going to be majority white. But yet, every single night, there was a party. Every single night. Most of the white friends that I kicked it around, there was drugs everywhere. Cocaine, mushrooms. I was surprised that nobody pulled out any meth. But ecstasy, mushrooms, cocaine, Molly, it runs rapid through those schools, and not just through those schools, throughout almost every college throughout the United States. And do not try and lie and say it's not true. And for the majority of this time that these colleges has been built and established and maintained, White people has always had the easy road. Black people always had to fight to get into colleges. You can take a white girl from the dirtiest parts of white America, the ghettoest parts of white America, and put her against a black girl from the most high-written parts of black America, the top of the tier, the cream of the crop, the crevice of the crust, all of that. And that white girl will be accepted before that black girl will. Let's be very clear about that. So, black people in America for generations have been working harder and harder and harder and harder than anybody else, saying we can't fuck around. Even now. And I'm gonna prove that a little bit later. Let's go.
Vlad, I'm going to tell you something, and this might be controversial. But for the people who don't know, you go to any college these days, the people who work the hardest, we're moving white people out of the mix.
Why are we moving white people out of the mix when you're talking about the people that work the hardest in college? Why? Because your cooning ass don't want to sit here and speak facts about what the actual statistics will tell you. You want to just make it fit what you fucking want to make it fit. So let's hear what he wants to fucking make it fit.
You see them Africans who are immigrants? They fucking study all night. You see them first generation Indians? All my high level math classes, they're all in.
Oh, yeah, the Asians who don't speak English, they're busting their ass.
Killing
it. Yep, I remember all that.
I'm going to be honest with you. And other immigrants, they go crazy. Only people who I be see chilling, a lot of the black Americans, they be in there cooling like this is a chill out.
You hear that? I had to laugh at that because the stupidity of what this motherfucker just did is amazing to me. Like, I'm never amazed by a motherfucker's stupidity, but the way that they try to spit it out like it's actually intelligent is what drives me to want to slap motherfuckers like him. That's what drives me to want to slap motherfuckers like Academic. Because he's not an academic. He's a DJ. And this DJ needs to shut the fuck up and spin the goddamn records. Because what he's speaking on is not only disrespect to us, but it is a uplifting for white people. Because anywhere across the country, you look at the statistics, any black person, whether immigrant or non, works harder than any white person that goes to that school by statistics. Why? Because the school system, just like the American system, is built to benefit those children that don't look like us. So we sit here and fight against all this bullshit only to be looked at like we're not doing more work than anybody else, including white people, and that's a bullshit lie. Immigrants outwork everyone. Why? Because immigrants whose parents, who still have their parents, they're going to be on their head. You have an opportunity. What are you doing? You didn't go all the way over there to party. And even the immigrants that do say that to their children. When I was in Santa Barbara, I seen a lot of African immigrants going off. I seen a lot of Asian immigrants going off. I seen a lot of Mexican immigrants going off. I seen a whole lot of immigrants partying their ass off, not finishing their work until the fucking hour before it's time for them to go to fucking class. Now tell me I'm lying. Anybody that went to college or that's attending college now. We gotta stop this bullshit, and we gotta point out these people like this motherfucker who says dumb shit like this and then wonder why black people can't stick together. And then wonder why black people aren't going anywhere. And then wonder why when we sit here and fight for policy within the school system and government and within civil systems, we get this pushback because of people like him. Dumb motherfuckers who didn't grow up in our American plight, who didn't fucking live the life we had to live, who still don't motherfucking understand a damn thing that's going on in this country. Because if he did, he would be on code. He wouldn't be speaking about some shit to elevate a white boy by telling him, we're going to exclude white people from this conversation. You stupid motherfucker. You just showed everybody who the fuck you are. Show me who you are, and I'll believe you. Because my grand queen, the grand queen, Maya Angelou, told me when I was just a buck reading those books, trying to gain a self-understanding of who I am, she told me just like this: when a person show you who they are, you believe them. This is why nobody fuck with academics. DJ academics, to be specific. Academics as of reading, writing, learning. That's something totally different. But you, my friend, are no academic. You are not a person that study academics. You are not a person that represents academics or black excellence or black growth. You're a person that represents the coon that you are. You want to come into a country and be a part of the oppression class, and you act just like the oppression class. You speak the same rhetoric as the oppression class. You do the things that the oppression class do. You act the way the oppression class act, and you treat people that look like you the way the oppression class treat them. Do you see why we don't fuck with niggas like you? And yeah, I need y'all to understand me. I'm a very passionate person. That's why my show is called The Church of Black Power. Why? Because I was prophesied to be a preacher, and I said, no, I couldn't be a preacher because I understand how Christianity done freaking messed over my people. That's not something for me. And the guy told me straight up, he said, look, man, you're going to speak the Most High's knowledge. You're going to speak the Most High's power, and you're not going to hold any punches. And that's a real preacher for the Most High. It don't matter what religion you're a part of. It don't matter what freaking a spiritual section that you choose to go in. When you speak for God, you speak for God. When you speak for God's people, you speak for God's people. I speak for God's people, which is my people, because we're the people of God. Let's be real about that. Anybody at me if you want to, will debate it. I ain't Nick Cannon, bitch. So let's get very clear on these motherfuckers like Vlad, an academic, DJ academic. These motherfuckers are here to literally make you mad, to get your energy up. And of course, you can see mine up right now. But it isn't up because I want to go out and act stupid. It's because I get tired of the dumb shit that people who aren't for us put onto you guys, and you guys really start regurgitating their talking points. You start believing the lies because if you say something enough, it becomes the truth. And a lot of people don't research shit, so they fucking feel that what he's saying is absolutely true when it's absolutely false. He just said how he was an immigrant who failed how many classes? But he came in and worked harder? How many immigrants failed classes? I had an Asian friend, and he called me racist for saying this. I had an Asian friend who went to the goddamn college that my ex-fiance went to. We used to kick it together all the time and smoke. Chill out, chop it up, I used to make beats. He used to rap to them. And you know what he told me? He told me ever since he came to college, the number one subject that he's had the most trouble with was math. And I said, how the hell is that? You're Asian. And he said, bro, that's racist. Now, usually I would stop people from saying that's racist to a black person like myself because I understand that racism is systematic and it is a system. That means prejudice plus power. I don't have the power to be racist towards you. But once I used that talking point, that did make me racist. Why? Because I'm using the white supremacist talking point about Asians, which is they're very good at math. So when you find someone who sits here and call you out on that shit, and it took me weeks to think about that, because at first I tried to go off on them, and then I thought about it to myself like, wow, wait a second. Let me calm down for a second, because he's actually being factual. And the more I thought about it over the weeks, the more information came to my mindset. That's why it says it's good for you to meditate on your ancestors, because they will speak to you. Meditate. Become a part of who you are. Become a part of that Most High, right? Because you'll be able to discern what's right and what isn't. And what that person told me was absolutely correct. I use a white person's talking point, which makes me a racist at that time, because the power is in that talking point that came from those people that do have racist quality, systematic, plus just physical in everyday life. Let's roll on.
And I don't fault them because it's a mentality thing. I've been talking to people about that. It's like, as an immigrant, you feel like you just have to do it. Mm-hmm. You just have to do it. A lot of people go to college to chill, to get girls. And I watched what everybody else did, and I seen the battery that was in my back, and you got to figure this shit out. I wasn't about to leave college until I figured it out. Man, I stayed damn near 6 years. I wasn't about to leave that bitch.
Yeah, I did 4.5.
6 years, he said he stayed in college to get a 4-year degree. Did that sound like somebody who worked harder? And I'm not downing anybody that stays in the college for the amount of time that they need in order to get those degrees. But think about it. He said once he got there, he wasn't fucking around. Now, there's a difference between people that stay in college for 6 years that actually need the help because they don't understand something, right? They really need, like me, like I'm gonna be honest with you, my geometry class, not my geometry class, excuse me, my algebra 2 class took me 2 times to pass. Took me 2 times to pass. But once I passed it, I exceeded past that algebra 2 setting. You get what I'm saying? Because here's the thing. The concepts in which I was learning was different from what I learned in school. Algebra 1 is one thing. Algebra 2 is another. But if you, sir, came directly and I left school, I dropped out of school due to racism. Due to a motherfucker named Mr. Rasmussen. And the school sided with that cracker. And every school that I went to after I was opportunity transferred out of there showed the same fucking thing. I dropped out of school because of the shit. Not because I wasn't intelligent. Because Mark Twain said it best, I'll never let school interfere with my intelligence. And there was nobody that could actually debate me when it came to any of the facts that I had, especially when it came to history. When I went over to Santa Barbara College with my ex-girlfriend, I got into a debate with her constitutional law teacher, which made me go back to school in the first goddamn place. Because I beat her constitutional law teacher in a debate. To the point where he didn't even come back to me. I wasn't even there. He went to her and told her, where's your boyfriend? And she said, well, you know what? He doesn't attend this college. He was just here with me that day. Let him know that everything that we talked about that day, he's absolutely correct on. I went and did the research and I saw that everything that he was saying, especially about Section 8 of the Constitution, is absolutely correct, and I apologize. So there are people that need the help and some people that don't. Some people don't need to go to college because they refuse to let school interfere with their education. They can still educate themselves outside of college. Some people drop out of college because of the same things. But for you to sit here and say that you outwork our immigrants outwork black people specifically because you took white people out of the equation, all you're doing is fucking showing that you're fucking licking someone's ass. Because you yourself stood there 6 years when the average immigrant takes less than 4 or 4. So that means the immigrant that you're talking about, the immigrants, have even outworked another immigrant. See what I'm saying? Like this shit is fucking, it's here and there, it's everywhere. But let me grab this and I'll put it into my sentence to make it sound good everywhere. No, motherfucker. It doesn't sound good everywhere. It sounds like you a dumbass. Let's go. Let's finish this.
Man, I was down to stay 10 because it was a great time, but I knew real life because college is a fictional world. It's a very fictional world. I remember being in college when Barack Obama won the presidency, and I didn't really understand because like it felt like the outside world, but we had an interior world that, you know, we only cared about. It's a big campus. We only care about.
And we ain't gonna talk about Obama and the way that he already did us, because we already done talked about it several shows. I'm not going to keep talking about it, but this is what those other immigrants look up to. Yeah, all right.
About, okay, oh, who's in what frat? Who's this? Like, it was very fragmented. So that's only one of the things that I see about college. And as I look at graduation rates, I definitely look to, you know, people who are like you know, who are like African American and born here, and I wish they had that, you know, that fire that I see some of the immigrants have. By the way, some of them do, 100%.
And did you hear that shit? When it comes to graduation rates in the United States, the number one, look this shit up if you don't fucking believe me. Look at the statistic. The number one group is black women, indigenous black women, which means the women that was born here of slavery are the number one group of people who's leaving college with degrees. So what the fuck is this man talking about? What is this man talking about? What he's talking about is, 1, it's a lie, flat out. 2, it's illogical. 3, it is sit on top of the table for you to look at it and either pick it up or leave that shit on the table. A person who understands that it's a lie, they're going to leave it on the table. A person that don't understand it's a lie, they're going to pick it up and say, ooh, what is this? This is shiny. This is cute. Look at that. Yes, queen. All this other bullshit. And then they're going to pin it to their chest and walk around with it as if it's just factual. Because they were too lazy to do goddamn research themselves. That's the one thing I can say to my brothers and sisters. It's time for us to stop listening to what other people say, including people that look like us, and start researching everything people say, including people like us. That's why I tell everybody that fucks with me, whether it's from Vine, whether it's from Instagram, whether it's from Twitter, Facebook, and all 4 of them, I've been censored. Facebook, when I had the max amount of people, and I got into it with freaking McDonald's, and I got into it with PETA, speaking facts, got cut off. Vine, I had my highest following ever. But when I decided to use Vine for educational purposes within that 6 seconds, which was different from everyone else, and other people started following suit, all of a sudden Vine going out of business. Okay, that's fine. Instagram, they followed me from Vine to Instagram, and I did the same thing. Do you know how many times I've been blocked? Do you know how many times I've been exited? Do you know how many times I've been shadow banned? Because those are three different things. Shadow banned, which I call shadow banned, because you can still send messages to people. I've been blocked from even accessing my account. Like, these are things that happens for people that speak up for us. These are things that happen for people that speak up for us. So when you go and you have a platform and then you go to another person's platform just to talk shit, I cut you off immediately. Immediately. Now we're going to go into another interview, and I'm going to let it play a bit. I'm going to let you hear it a bit. And we're going to talk about this next person too. Y'all already know who's the next person if you've been paying attention to what's been going on in society. It's going to be your boy Godfrey. So let's hear him talk about how he checked DJ Vlad for disrespecting black men and explain why he quit Vlad TV. Let's go.
Speaking of Vlad, you stopped doing it. I just popped out of nowhere. What the hell was that
I
about?
stopped doing Vlad, and I did Vlad because I liked the interviews. The interviews
Sure.
were dope.
You was dope on it.
Yeah,
Shit.
Redman. I said, man, he's a good. I said, let me try to get on because I was working at Sirius XM. I had a show on this one station. I don't even want to give him any fucking props.
Okay.
And it was a black station, conservative station, and I was on there. I got a job from there because they say, hey man, we'd really like you to be on this station. I said, well, I've never done radio, and I know it's real corporate-y shit, and I don't like people like hovering over me and shit. I hate that.
Sure.
So they were like, no, we really want you. You're real edgy. I go, are you sure you want this kind of smoke?
Sure.
I said, I'm a different kind of motherfucker. I'm like,
Right.
I'm
You
pro-black, but it's different.
Right.
I'm pro-black, but it's different. Let me tell you what different pro-black looks like. A person that's not afraid to fuck up the money. That's a different pro-black. I'm a different pro-black. Many of us are different pro-blacks because we can't sell ourselves out. We can't sell out our people. We can't sell out anything for any amount of money because our ethics within us tells us, hell no. Your ancestors would kick your ass. My ancestors fought for so many things for me to be able to sit here and say the things that I'm saying right now. I will be disrespectful to them to not sit here and say them. So no, you're not a different type of pro-black. You're the pro-black that they put in front of people to make people think that they're pro-black. Or they're rocking with people that's pro-black. Like Vlad did your ass. And I'm going to prove that later too. Let's go.
I say, you sure? They say, no, because Al Sharpton is on the channel. I said, okay, that's not too bad. But I said, I don't know. And then I got on Sirius XM, and then I had an hour show, and then everybody was like, God.
The fact that they said that Al Sharpton himself, the freaking CIA agent, CIA informant that worked with the mob, the same person that was a preacher for hire by the mob, by the government. You should have known overt. Soon as he said that right there, it was about to be some shit. That's why we don't rock with Al Sharpton. We don't rock with Jesse Jackson. This isn't something that we fucking... See, being on code means we don't rock with these people because of who they are and what they did to our communities. How they're used to freaking do this to our communities. But yet this motherfucker would have talked about, well, they said they had Al Sharpton on there. And, I was like, okay, well, yeah, maybe I said definitely. not bringing up the information that we have on Al Sharpton. While his big head, little body ass right now running around here dancing all over the goddamn scene as a Democratic puppet that motherfucking mask everything that's going on in Black America with his bullshit TV show. The same position that Roland Pinball Martin wanted. Okay, let me not go there. Let me not go all the way in there because, you know, some people might feel like, well, you're not being on code by talking shit about these people. No, I'm being directly on code because I'm talking to my black people. I'm talking to my community. I'm talking to my brothers and sisters, the people that I went through the same thing. We go through the same thing. There's totally two different scenarios in this situation. Because I'm not afraid to stand on code. You ask me about a black man, I don't have to like the motherfucker. Ask me about Tariq in front of a white dude. Oh, Tariq's one of the greatest people I know. Like, you know, I'm glad that, you know, he actually was able to do Hidden Colors, because without Hidden Colors, a lot of people wouldn't be able to, you know, educate themselves in their history and this, that, that. But ask me in front of another black person, and I'm going to tell you the issues that I have with Tariq Nasheed or Nasheed or whatever the hell it is. And there are not a lot of freaking situations where black people do that. One thing that I agree with TBA about, and there's a couple of things, and like I said, I watch a lot of people, and I take what's necessary. What isn't, let that shit go to the birds. But one thing that he does say is, if you want to know, it's either TBA or Dr. Black Truth, either one. Because to me, they're kind of one and the same. Like, no disrespect, but it is. They're kind of one and the same to me. If you want to know what a black man really thinks, ask him in front of a white person. And I see all these people. I see all these people that sit here and they're in the business with these people that just don't talk the shit that they talk around us. And this is why this video is very important. Let's go.
He needs more than an hour. So I moved within 10 months to 2 hours, prime time.
I remember that too.
Yeah, it was called the Godfrey Complex.
Okay.
Like God Complex. And I was murdering.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I had
too much though.
I had a black fact every day. We call it like Aflac. It was like black fact.
That's funny.
Boom.
Oh, yeah.
We did that. I had black facts every single day. I said, we're not waiting for February.
Love it.
Fuck that. By the time February comes, you're not even gonna notice it because you're gonna be so knowledged up. You're not gonna need February.
Love it.
It's gonna be play school shit. I'm gonna give you real shit. More.
Now notice, when he's with black people, this is how he talks. This is how he speaks. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't listen to a lot of his shows, but for the most part, yeah. Some of his shows, I was very proud of him being on, speaking about certain facts. And here's the thing. I have no shame in saying that, because when you're doing for your people, when you're acting in the way that you're supposed to act, I can glorify you. I don't know everything everybody does, but I can tell you certain actions that I like about them, certain things that they do, I will also call it out. And this is what we all should do. But I will give him that. And this is why I say, and this is the person I'm saying that probably don't understand, even if he does understand. But if he don't understand, he'll understand by the end of this if he ever catches this video. Let's go.
More shit. Listen, nothing from Martin Luther King. I'm not taking nothing there, but we learned about him in January. Then you learn about him in February again. It's like, I love Martin Luther King. I would never do, but it's like there's other people. Sure. Other than Rosa Parks, let's talk about the Claudette lady who actually sat down first before Rosa Parks.
So many people.
But
Claudette, the young lady, 15-year-old girl who literally went to the NAACP and told her story, and they stole the story from her. because she was a 15-year-old pregnant girl. They felt like, one, she was too dark for people to sympathize with, and they wanted a more light-skinned woman in order to be able to be more subjectable for sympathy from the white culture. And then they just eliminated her from the equation. But her aha moment was, it was her, Claudette, who actually sat on a stand at the Supreme Court and gave her testimony, which made the Supreme Court say segregation is unconstitutional. But we don't even talk about her. They glorify Harriet Tubman. Excuse me, not Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't. What I'm saying is we should be able to glorify both sides. We should be able to say, hey, because that little girl looked up to Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks had lunch and shit with this girl, talked to her, tried to make her, tried to be a mentor to this little girl, only for this person to steal her story. And that ain't got nothing to do with this, but it has everything to do with it as well. Let's just throw that under there. I'm out. Not out, but let's move on.
She was dark skinned, so they were like, "We'll use Rosa Parks because she's light skinned to promote the whole boycott." You know, so let's do real shit. So I was doing that on that station, but the thing is all the like black truck drivers. I actually recognized. I say I want to give a shout out, and I would do this. I'll give a shout out to all the black truck drivers out there, all the truck drivers that driving the big rigs, the women. I just was fucking around. I get a swarm of calls from all these black truck drivers calling me. They say, "Man, ain't nobody recognized us, man. You're the first person that has recognized us on
real
this
dude,
station."
man. That's normal.
And I
dude.
said, "Really? No, you guys are the subscribers. Truck drivers are the major subscribers of Sirius XM." He was like, "No, nobody recognizes us, man. And you know, you don't. And you're the only one that recognized the racism in trucking." I didn't know that. I said, "There's racism in trucking?" They say, "Hell yeah. These cats be talking over the mic, over the CB, going nigger this, nigger that."
What?
And then when we see them at the truck stop, they mad quiet.
And as a person who has a dispatching business, I can tell you that's absolutely correct. It is absolutely correct. And here's the, see, this is one of the reasons why I give the brother a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, but I have to address what he's doing in case he's doing this on purpose. Because Godfrey he's been talking about a lot of issues that plague the black communities. But it seems to be only when it's around other black people. Now, the only time that I can remember that he did opposite was when Vlad asked him about reparations, and we're going to get to that later. But I do feel that he needs to be addressed in case he don't understand where his own steps towards being off code have taken. Let's go.
And then these truck drivers be like, I had to knock out a couple white boys. And so I started getting this big truck driver like fan base. Sure. They come to my shows,
break
man.
Break one.
Yeah. I said, this is chocolate
Godfrey.
thunder right here, just Black Eagle, baby,
Right.
But I was doing shit like that. I was doing different shit, and people were like, man, I had people when I first got on that. You know, remember, it's all like conservative black folks. So when I first got on there, I started yelling on purpose. I said, "What's up, everybody? What the fuck?" And then people were like, at first, I remember old black people was like, at first, I didn't like you. I thought you was loud. I thought you was ignorant. But I didn't realize how much you knew. You're so smart and intelligent. So I had old people. I had little kids this is an adult show.
Right.
Man, I had people letting their kids listen to my shit because they were
Really?
like, my kids have been reading every time you bring up a new book. They've been reading more.
Nice.
I remember we were talking.
And here's the thing. This is the power that an unapologetically black person can get. Excuse me. You can actually have, let me take a sip of my drink, clear out these coughings. You can actually have a family who listens to you, let's say a father who listens to you, if you're pro-black and you're speaking on facts and you're bringing up things that would benefit us as a people, you would get that father go home and he'll play it for his wife. Oh my gosh. And then, because of the fact that you both agree that this is so powerful, and you probably don't have the words to teach your children yourself, don't have the know-how to tell your children about the realness of America, don't want to break your children's perception, but have to, a lot of those parents will say, you know what, we're going to start watching this as a family. Oh my God. Come together right now, because that's what family does, if it's a family. And contrary to popular belief, there's more black families that's intact than any other family in this country. Let's talk about that. There are more black marriages that's been live and stay alive than any other race in this country, including white people. How the black male is the most present in the home, but he's supposed to be the what is it called? The father who abandons his children? When that's actually the white man's trait. Yes, I said it. Don't hate me, because it's facts. Look it up in history. Because his story is his story. It's written by the victors. And even the victors tell you how they would rape, pillage, and have children and sell those children. Don't play with me, because I don't hold punches around this piece. This is the church of black power. The doors are still open. You can hit like. You can hit subscribe. Because we ain't pulling punches around this piece. The only difference with me is that I ain't passing around no collection plate. I ain't asking for nothing to speak on what we need. You got to be very wary of people who ask for stuff when we need stuff. Now, if you want to offer it, because you can, and you want to help the movement, then fine. We could put together a fund. And we're going to put a council over that fund. But it can't be, I am willing to accept deposits, right? Or donations, which are deposits to me. But I won't tell you what's going on with them. I won't show you what's going on with them. That is a fucking scam artist to the core. What's going on with those donations needs to be posted every freaking month like a goddamn stock. What's going on with the stock? When you have ownership in the stock, right? But when you give donations, nobody really wants to do the work to say, hey, this is old. This is old. What is going on with the donations that we gave you for this? Because this was for a specific purpose, and I don't see that purpose happening. What's going on? Like, it's just so simple. This is just so simple. I don't want nothing from people. But the thing is, because I don't want nothing from people, people tend to take what people say less valuable because they want nothing from people. Why? Because it's a psychological problem. Especially that black folk have. That the more money that you spend, the more valuable the knowledge that's given to you is. And that's bullshit. The fact of the matter is, even in Kemet, the people in Kemet wasn't stupid. But if you wanted the higher knowledge and the higher knowledge above what other people thought was higher knowledge, yeah, you would have to not only give money, but you would have to dedicate 40 years of your life. Up to 40 years of your life, depending on how much knowledge you wanted. Look it up. But we got people running around here talking a bunch of bullshit that don't make sense. But they can speak some good shit in order to keep people following them, to keep money in their pockets, to keep them funding shit, to keep on doing things and being seen as a person that represents black people, but also talks about black people in the way that white media wants you to, and you're a clip. You're nothing but a goddamn clip. You ain't even a bitch. You're not even worthy of having children. So you can't be a female dog. You're a clip. You're an entity that we created, that we control. Whether you understand it or not, you will never control that clip that you've already put into the airwaves that we now control because it's on our airwaves. These people don't understand this shit. This is a problem. Let's go.
About black people not being able to swim. Okay? Not being able to swim. Like, there's a lot of black people I know that can't swim. And I know there's black people I know that can swim.
Right, I'm about to say.
A lot of black people that I know that can swim.
Right.
All my friends, we all can swim.
Right.
If you couldn't swim in Chicago, we would laugh at you. Like, how the fuck can't you swim?
Right.
Like,
I can swim. I ain't gonna lie. I love to swim. They call me a dolphin. But nobody in the hood was surprised that I can swim because everybody in the hood that I knew that wanted to go to the pool could swim. Because you have to pass the swim test, okay, to get into 12 feet. To get past 10 feet, you have to pass a swim test where you have to swim in 12 feet front to back and make it there in under 2 minutes. And that was still a gift because really any other pool was 1 minute. But I digress. Go ahead.
we made fun of you. That's why some kind of bullying is still, should still be instilled. You should be made fun of if you can't swim. How the fuck can't you swim? You know, and I did an episode. I go, yo, man, you black folks, man, I'm getting tired of you motherfuckers not being able to swim, but you always at a pool party.
Ooh.
I don't get it. You're always at a fucking pool party. Learn how to swim first before you go to your pool party. After I did that episode, I had women in their 60s going, after that episode, we have been taking classes at the YMCA.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I agree with them. I agree with everything he just said right there. If you cannot swim and you're black, and you're afraid, and let me give you some love, but also some hard love. Take your ass and learn how to swim. Because understand this. If your baby is playing around the pool, like I was, when I was young and couldn't do for self, I was dependent upon my parents. I fell into a pool. And nobody noticed that I fell into the pool but my dad. And my dad, he said, what the hell's going, where's my son? And he looked around and he saw me in the pool sinking. And he jumped in, full church clothes on and everything, loafers, and swam to me and saved his child. And I'm not sitting here and I'm not trying to make anybody who can't swim feel bad. What I'm saying is I need my family, you guys, to go out and learn things that you don't really want to learn. You don't feel that's necessary. Swimming is a necessary thing, whether you know it or not. Oh, I'll just keep my children away from the pools and things like that. Okay. What happens is you're at the beach. And the way that the world works is things shift. So the beach can become more involved with the ocean than it is involved with the beach. And that's a fact, which means the beach can completely disappear due to a tide. And all you have to do is be able to swim back to a place where there's enough ground to stand. Not even at the beach. California's been freaking prophesied to go under the water for some time. What happens if you become a freaking island, they say? I'm going to tell you what happens if California becomes an island. Parts of California will break completely apart. And other parts will sink. And people will know that they don't know how to swim, so they're going to die. And people will know that they do know how to swim and they'll live. Or, because I can't say it's going to be specifically that, I'm just saying there's scenarios that there's always a situation where you want to know something that you don't really feel you need to know. Swimming is one of those things. All right, we're past that. Let's go on.
That I just went at a different angle. I didn't do this. We all need to just go there. I said, stop going to the pool party.
Right.
You know, and I said, instead of swimming for leisure, swim for emergencies. What if your kid is drowning? Think about emergency, like, oh shit. Think about emergency. My father was a swimmer. He made us swim at 2-3 years old. We was deep enders at 5, grabbing bricks from 9 feet up and bring.
And look, I didn't even know he was going to say that because this is the first time that I ever watched this. All my life, on the life of my son, is the first time I ever watched this. However, because of my own experience where my father saved my life, I learned how to swim. I was never afraid of water again. To this day, I'm a dolphin because of the fact that I almost died in the water. And my father could swim. So this can happen to anybody, not just people who can't swim. So why not make sure that you can do something to protect your child if you're going to be in areas like this? Especially, we love to take our children to like parks, beaches, and things like that. Now, the parks is one thing, but the beaches is another. If you can't protect your child there, if you can't take your child to a swim party or a pool party, whatnot, and something happens, because sometimes even well-meaning parents who's watching their children like a hawk could be sitting there with their child and somebody bumped them and the child and they fall into the water. Are you both going to sit there and swim around like crazy? No. You need to know how to freaking protect your child. Everything else is stupidity. Preservation. Every other culture practice preservation. Why aren't we sitting here looking at the same situations that we don't like to do are the same situations that we need to preserve our own in times that we need to preserve them? What do you do when you have a baby and a woman both drowning in the pool somewhere or in the ocean? Who are you going to choose to pick? You're going to pick that dang baby. And I would pick the baby. I don't give a damn what anybody say. They can hate me. I don't care. You pick the baby. Because a woman should freaking know how to swim by now. This is just me. All right, let's go back. It's important for us to speak on that because that's something that is a fact. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's some people that just speak facts. Whether it's for them to gain notoriety or not, that's what they're doing. Because they're speaking facts and the real ones will hear them. But when they speak false, the ones that think that they're real, that heard that one typic of a message, right? they end up showing that they're not real because they want to protect the person who says some dumb shit rather than call them out on it. Let's go.
Bringing them up. That's what we did. My sister, we all swam. My father said, you have to swim.
Right, sure.
There's water everywhere. How can you not swim?
Notice, another immigrant, and we all knew this, but it's not a problem that it's an immigrant situation. The problem within the immigrant situation is that people love to act as such of the oppressive class. They speak on things that's of the oppressive class. They glorify things that's of the oppressive class because they think that one day, and not even one day, as of now, they're over you. Many of them know that they're over you. Because when they come here, they're being told, don't go mess with them. Those African Americans over there, they're bad. I know you see it all over the world and it looks good, but they're thieves, they're murderers, they're criminals. Same thing Trump was saying? Huh? But this is the thing. I'm not saying every person believes that, but the majority of the people that I've been speaking to that's from without the country, not within the country, they came from without the country that we had to live in. They came from without the country that we had to grow in, and they came from without the country that we're still trying to gain prosperity in. But they came to that country, and that without that they never had, they sit here and now become a within situation by saying, well, we've been here and we've done more than you. Now, Godfrey, he hasn't been one of those people who's done or said that stuff that I know of until he starts saying that stuff, and he has, and this is what I'm saying. Like, I stopped messing with people because of these things, and we have to stop messing with people because of these things. And you're going to see more in a little bit about why I'm saying that, because it seems like I still mess with him because I'm glorifying him in one way. Yeah, from some of the things that he's done. Any black person that does things for black people in a positive notion that can help another black person, I will glorify them in that one situation that they do it in. But when you mess up, in my eyes, I'm not going to hold punches because you did one good thing, two good things, or the way certain people see you isn't the way that you're actually projecting yourself to be today. That's not what that is. What that is stupidity, and stupidity does not fall under ignorance. Ignorance means that you don't know things. Stupidity is you do and you select it. Ignorance is, well, I never heard that. Let me research it. Stupidity is, no matter what you say, that's bullshit. We ain't about to play this game. Let's not have this. This is Church of Black Power. Let's go.
The planet is 80% water and you're not swimming.
Right.
Fuck.
Right.
Your body's 80%. How the fuck can't you swim?
But hold on. How does
You got to be able to swim, read, and drive. There's a lot of words, road, and water. Please.
I love it. Sounds good.
Stop.
But hold on. How does that have to do with you not being on Vlad anymore?
Let me show you. So I
Okay.
left. I got fired from. I was because a dude hooked me up at SiriusXM. I said, hey man, I want to do this Vlad thing, and this dude was like, yo, I know Vlad. I know his people. I'm gonna hook that up. I said, bet. That's how I got it through Sirius XM.
okay.
And so I got on there because me and Vlad knew the same people and
Sure.
shit. You know, he had the same barber I had. And I was like, boom, and I didn't know he was white.
Right. Russian.
Russian dude, Ukrainian, bro. I was like, oh shit, you white. I didn't know because he was off camera.
Right, sure.
And I was like, okay. So we just started rolling. Me, Lord Jamal. I was like, and people was like, man, we love you on Vlad. And it was fun.
Right.
I knew what I was there for.
Right, sure,
I was there
sure.
to get numbers, there to just keep relevant, and it was working.
You
know?
was killing it, bro.
It was working.
was
So I get to do voices and just act a fool. I was there for numbers. And all of a sudden, you know, he's interviewing D.L. Hughley, and he's talking about Minister Farrakhan. And he's like, yeah, I don't like what Farrakhan said. Da, da, da. I said, first of all, you don't have to agree. There's black people that don't agree with Farrakhan. That's fine. But I was like, what did he say? And it was a speech that I heard, because I listened to Minister. I've listened to him for years.
Right.
So I watched him do one of his last speeches on 4th of July.
Okay.
And, you know, he's a little older, so he goes a little slower. So I was like, I listened to the whole thing. And then Vlad said, yeah, Minister said that we should throw rocks at Jewish people. I say, he didn't say that.
Yeah.
He don't talk like that.
Right.
Which he didn't. Not at all. He never said that, and I'm going to be 100%. As much as those people that I would say I will always stand for in front of the face of everyone else. But ask me a question in front of another black person. Ask me a question about Farrakhan. And we'll have a black-to-black conversation about that. But you will never, in my life, whether it is a conversation between me and you as a black person, or whether it's a conversation in front of a white person, will I say that Farrakhan was ever wrong in what he said and a lot of things that he said? There are differences. This is why a lot of the people who are my Muslim brothers, they love me. Why? Because of the fact that I went seeking for the same knowledge that they're seeking now. And one of the things that took me from Christianity to Islam to Hebrew to Comedicism is the fact that I was able to look through all these situations on my own in my own research. So I respect Islam. But there are things that have to be addressed in Islam. The same things that has to be addressed, not the same things, but they're the sum of same things that are addressed or need to be addressed in every other religion. So I don't care what religion you are. But if you're speaking facts, facts are facts. Facts will always be facts. You can never take away a fact from a fact. You can't take negative fact from a negative. Let me be very clear about this. All right. Negative fact. Negative fact. Does that make a positive fact? Okay, it does. Just like negative times a negative make a positive. A positive fact plus a positive fact, excuse me, not a plausitive, but I'm going there. A positive fact plus a positive fact is still a plausitive fact, which is a fact. Still. But guess what? All right, so a negative fact time a positive fact would entail to be a what? So we have to understand that there's a lot of things that people say that's supposed to be so positive that isn't. There's a lot of things that people say that's supposed to be so positive that shows itself not to be positive. Especially when it comes to being black facts. And we bypass it because people do these negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, which most of these Vlad, freaking DJ Vlad interviews are. Now tell me I'm wrong. And so people like Godfrey right now and DJ Academic, because he's not a real academic, he's just a DJ. They show yourselves. They show themselves, excuse me. Which makes you show yourselves if you understand what I'm saying.
He don't never say no shit like that. And I was like, he talks about the discrepancy, the fighting between the Jewish community and the black community, but he never said no violence towards Jewish. Never. He never said that. And I said, you lying, dude. He didn't say that. He used a metaphor. What he said was, as Muslims, we take the rock of truth and we throw it at. He's a very
metaphor,
intelligent man.
right, sure.
He's a master violinist, if you know that. He's a very intelligent man. I said, he didn't say that, dude. Stop, dude. And he goes, I said, well, me and Lord Jamar called him. We said, we ain't gonna be no bitches. We gonna confront you.
Sure, real
and
shit.
say, hey man, you're gonna send an apology.
A rebuttal.
Bro.
Right.
And he goes, I sent one. He goes, that looked like a technical difficulty, dude. You did not send an apology, bro. Send an apology. And we're talking to him. He goes, well, I'm not gonna be bullied. No one's bullying you, dude. Now you a white dude again. Now you being white boy now. Mm-hmm. Now you taking off, you sucking off a black culture.
Woo. Now look, both of these guys that's in this whole video are doing the same thing. Pere, whatever the fuck he calls himself, he's been doing the same thing because he sat here and says a bunch of stupid shit too. I don't fuck with him either. When it comes to comedy hype, he's irrelevant to me. But I also see how comedy hype as a company, as a whole organization, do the same thing that most of these fucking media companies do. Especially Fox. Especially motherfucking CNN. Plans News Network. That's literally... all of these companies do the same goddamn thing. NBC, ABC, all of these. But every black person that you see on these companies, there's somebody in there that want to literally be a part of that oppression class. So they're going to speak like an oppressor. This motherfucker Pierre got caught out, I don't know how many months ago. Look it up. How many people called this motherfucker out? And there was a lot of shit that happened after that. But I ain't give a fuck about that because I don't fuck with the nigga like that. I already knew who he was. Big difference. And real motherfuckers knew who the fuck this nigga was. Everybody knew who the fuck he was. Why? Because people thought that you was down with the community because of what? Because you was in the Ice Cube movie? Or a Dr. Dre movie? I don't even remember which movie you was in because you're that irrelevant, nigga. But you go on and you go have a conversation with this nigga. See, like, people don't understand the realness of what I do. It's not about politics. I'm a political scientist. My politics is black people. My politics is the descendants that built this country and black people all in the same circle. But not in the same circle. Because my politics show that. It's a circle within the circle. That means the black people that built this country, yeah. The black people that built this country deserves reparations and a political agenda that brings them up in an equitable fashion to where anyone else in this country is or above. Specifically the white man and white woman. Let's be very clear about that. That's politics. But then also, my international politic is this. Any person who's come here needs a black agenda as well so that they don't come here looking at life as a motherfucking slave and get treated like a slave for many, many years and then get killed. And then your children think, or your parents think, or whoever thinks that, well, We come here for that. We could sue, and then that's bullshit too. If you really want justice, money isn't a part of justice. Money is an attribute after justice. Because I've proven that you've done something, so now you go to jail. You rot. But guess what? Since now I've proven that you've done something and you go to jail, you rot, I get restitution, which proves that you have done something, so you have to go to jail and rot, which means also you have to pay restitution to the family that dealt with these hardships. See, this is a problem that people ain't realizing. They're not trying to come together and think about it. They don't really want to talk about it. They don't really want to speak about it. But they want to sit here and talk about who they are and why their opinion is so fucking more valid, more valid than people who are out here speaking about more valid terms. I am over it. Let's go.
You taking all, you're making money off black culture. You fuck with black girls, shame on them. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit.
And now, because they giving you that confidence to talk crazy to us. That's
Oh. You mean the same way Vlad was doing? The same thing that you called out to Vlad, saying that he makes money off the culture too. And he agreed with you. And we're going to get to that. Oh, yeah, we're going to get to that. But we're going to run this back. Because we're not about to sit here and have you sit here and act like you're a victim to anything and anything, bro. Because you speak on things and then you say things that show us to be showing you to be the same thing that's blocking us to get what we need, and being the same thing who those other people were saying were the same thing that you were being. Let's go.
now you a white dude again. Now you being white boy now. Now you taking off, you sucking off of black culture. You taking all, you're making money off black culture. You fuck with black girls, shame on them. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit.
And now, because they giving you that confidence to talk crazy to us. That's what's happening. They giving you confidence. These black women give you confidence to disrespect brothers like us. So I'm like this. Listen, man, you got to apologize. And Lord Jamar said, yo, you know what? Fuck it then. You're going to stand on your culture, because my thing is, and this is no disrespect to Vlad. We're not beefing or nothing.
Right, sure.
He's not a practicing Jewish man. He's an atheist. He doesn't even believe in God. But now, all of a sudden, you're back to being he's anti. What?
Right.
Now you done switched. You don't even believe in God. And Farrakhan is a God-fearing man.
Let's be very clear of what my little brother, because I don't care if he's older than me or not, he's my little brother. Spiritually, physically, mentally, he's my little brother. My little brother just told you a fact on top of a fact, in which made him like shrug his shoulders up and say, well, I'm not dealing with that no more. But you have to understand what he's saying is more important than the action of what he just did. Let's go.
Oh, shit.
And now, because they giving you that confidence to talk crazy to us. That's what's happening. They giving you confidence. These black women give you confidence to disrespect brothers like us. So I'm like this. Listen, man, you got to apologize. And Lord Jamar said, yo, you know what? Fuck it then. You're going to stand on your culture, because my thing is, and this is no disrespect to Vlad. We're not beefing or nothing.
Right, sure.
And another problem that I have is he just said, we're not beefing or nothing. No, nigga, we're beefing. This is beef. If I don't beef against anybody else on this planet, nigga, this is beef. Because you just decided to disrespect everything that we just built in this country and disrespect the people who built it, the people who actually stand for us, and the people and the reasons why they stand for us. You want to tell him we're not beefing. No, nigga, this is beef. And I got all the recipes. Culinary arts, nigga. Fuck you mean? This shit gets ridiculous. It gets out of line. This is where you go wrong, nigga. You want to sit here and talk about the shit that you did right, nigga? No. Look at what you're saying. So guess what you're putting into a bunch of black children's minds that you, sir, just said that a bunch of black truckers said we watch it with our families, our children. Those children are not getting what you got. And which is in your mind, you think it's okay. So guess what? Those black people that's been motherfucking watching you, if they ain't got the real balls of our ancestors, they ain't gonna motherfucking say this ain't okay. The same people that's speaking up right now today to where you're saying, oh, I'm not playing both sides of the fence. You're calling them and saying that they're stupid and shit. But they can't be stupid because the ancestors just told them how goddamn stupid they were for believing in you. At me, any fucking body. Anybody. And I get passionate about this shit because these niggas ain't passionate about shit until niggas get caught the fuck out for what the fuck they're doing. Which is going against everything that our ancestors fought for. The shit that I'm talking about today that my ancestors fought for me to be able to say. Who the fuck am I to sit here and act like I can't sit here and talk the truth for a motherfucker because he's black? You got me fucked up. But this is going to be a private situation between us blacks. Put me in the media talking about Godfrey. Hey man, you know, on his show, he definitely talked about all the things that we didn't know about black farmers, black truckers. Black truckers supported him the most. You know, he must have been doing something right, and I actually respect him for doing such a thing. Talk to me about Godfrey in front of black people, you're gonna get a different response. This is where we need to understand the differences. We need to understand the differences of everyone that says they're for us. What have they said in front of white people? What do they say in front of black people? And if they say something in front of white people and they say the same thing in front of black people, and both of those things that they say are detrimental to black people, why are you voting? Why are you going for them? Why are you supporting them? Let's have the conversation and not sit here and just block it. We have a generation that's growing up after we die that has to live in this shit. Why the fuck are we sitting here playing with this situation? It doesn't make sense. All of you people out here having babies talking about their acts of love. How the fuck do you not equate the acts of love of having a baby and having the fucking politics to protect your baby, you dumb motherfuckers? I get pissed off. Because I'm not here to fucking make people feel better. I'm here to better it for my children that comes after me. But they somehow have made everybody feel like, okay, especially as black people, they have to go through the same struggle we went through and then put their children through it because fuck that, you know, I had to fight for a scholarship. I had to fight for this. I had to fight for that. Dumbasses, you stupid motherfuckers, when nobody else in the race of motherfucking the U.S. history does that. We sit here fight for everybody else except for us. And I have the right to be pissed the fuck off. And I'm going to be pissed the fuck off. Maybe I'll name this the piss the fuck off logic of why the fuck I need to be pissed the fuck off. Because a lot of people ain't understanding why their children are going to end up in the worst situations that they're going to be in the next couple of years because they're still going to be alive or they'll die. And these motherfuckers are two of the motherfuckers that I'm talking about. Listen up.
He's not a practicing Jewish man. He's an atheist. He doesn't even believe in God. But now all of a sudden you're back to being
Right.
he's anti.
About
What?
religion, right,
Now
right.
you done switched. You don't even believe in God, and Farrakhan is a God-fearing man. So you're gonna like say the wrong shit about
hear
him, and then to top it off, you got Muslims that have given you interviews. Wesley Muhammad, they all come on his show, and then they giving you protection on the street, and you gonna talk about their leader. I just don't even understand
right. He should,
how
yeah,
you can
yeah.
even do that. But that's
Yeah.
the disrespect of black men. Because sometimes, I swear to God, and this is not all white folks, but a lot of them don't even look at our existence. They don't even think we count. They said, just do our shit. They don't think we count as human beings.
Now let me be very clear about this too. What Godfrey's saying is not false. I'm not saying what he's saying is false at all. What I'm saying is this. He's saying this after being on this man's podcast for years, after being an interviewee for years. When people were sitting there telling you that there's a problem, you were sitting there saying, no, that's not the case. For years. Then you go into this panic room with the same nigga that was talking shit about a black woman that disrespected her for motherfucker standing up for us. I might not like her in a certain way sometimes, but I love her because she's a black woman, a black queen. She still speaks and stands for things that you do not, my friend. And that he do not, my friend. It's easy to say this shit now because you didn't sit here and got rid of your white buddy who was putting you on, putting you in people's faces, giving you interviews. You was taking those interviews for free. It was easy, wasn't it? But now you know you have to be in a certain community. So what do? You go and cater to that fucking community. I'm not going to make it so fucking easy. And if you're true about what you said, you got to prove what you said. You got to do and be about what you said. Godfrey or anybody else. Anybody from this point on, or any point from the point that Vlad showed himself to be motherfucking racist, to be a goddamn hypocrite, to be a goddamn white boy, to motherfucking be a culture vulture, and continue to do that shit consistently and grab people who are either unknowingly or unwillingly or willingly having these conversations with this motherfucker to promote his own fucking agenda to be paid, you're also fucking cut off. If you're willing participants of this man, if you ever go on this man's show, you're cut the fuck off because you, yourself, you're against the same person that's in the mirror and the people that look like the person that's in the mirror. The man in the mirror that Mike Jack was talking about when he said he had to make a change, let's be 100% full. Mike didn't talk about a lot of shit. When he talked about Man in the Mirror, when he did the song, guess what he started speaking out about? All the inhumanities around the world against African children. Yes, he dealt with all children. That's cool. But his songs, his perspectives, and the way that he looked at everything, he spoke about it. You can go and look at his fucking reports, his goddamn interviews, and everything else while they're trying to make him look like something different than what he isn't. He didn't say here and spoke about what the fuck it was from the jump. But not everybody does this. Not everybody does this. Let's be 100. Not everyone does this. Once you get so far up, what do? You take that money and you shut the fuck up. Then you start talking about all the things that can make that person money because you're being promoted on that person's platform. You're doing this shit for free when everyone else that want to do something for black people, you're trying to fucking charge to do. I have a right to be pissed the fuck off. As a person who had his own radio show, AM 1620, Mac Attack Morning Show, I have the right to be pissed the fuck off because when I reached out to black people who was famous in situations, who could have just helped build me up, them same motherfuckers asked me what was I charging. The same way they ask other reporters or anybody else that has a platform what you're going to pay me. To me, not what you're charging, but what you're going to pay me. What's the rate? When you go and do all these shows for free. And I don't know if you went and did this show for free, Godfrey. I'm not going to say you did. But what I can say is this. I know you did Vlad's show for free. And whether you did this show for free or not does not equate to the multiple shows that you didn't do for free or the multiple interviews you didn't do for free to the people that didn't look like you. And if you did, show me. Show and prove, nigga. And I'll apologize. But it does not. It does not take away from the people that didn't. And I would like everybody that motherfucking did a Vlad interview to show and prove. Because I can guarantee you that there's multiple black people that came out already talking about how the goddamn you're out here charging them to fucking get the same interview that you're giving to Vlad for free. So what the fuck is the problem here? Huh? Let's finish this off. We got about just a few more minutes. No worries, people. And then we're going to, just a few more minutes of this video, and then we're going to break down a couple of things and we'll talk about it. Let's roll.
To God, and this is not all white folks, but a lot of them don't even look at our existence. They don't even think we count. They said, just do our shit. They don't think we count as human beings. And you don't even respect an elder. He's an elder. Whether you like Farrakhan or not, he's an elder. Been married to his wife for 67 years, bro. Been speaking for six. He's an elder. I don't give a fuck if it's Al Sharpton. I can agree and disagree. Sometimes I do Al Sharpton, but he's still an elder, bro.
But black culture knows that.
Black culture
knows how to respect
we
their
have
elders.
to learn
White
how
folks
to-
will start talking,
Right.
white kids reckless to their parents off the around the store and shit.
But
we looking at like, what the
Look
hell?
at what
did I
happened to
do?
Whoopi.
Yeah.
See, Whoopi ain't Goldberg. She's Karen Johnson. They treated her like Karen fucking Johnson, not Goldberg. Her name is Goldberg because she changed her name from Whoopi Cushion because she loved Whoopi Cushions and Goldberg. She has a Jewish last name, and they treated her like Karen Johnson.
Yeah.
You see, but they protect their shit though. When you say something off about them, they protect their community.
Now he's not lying about that. See what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and tell everybody that what he's saying is all bullshit. That's bullshit. What I am saying is this. He's saying the things that we've already been fucking saying. We call him out. Now he want to say everything that we've been saying because we've been calling him out because of the fact you've been working with this same fucking culture vulture who's been disrespecting not just the black community, but disrespected you to your face. And I'm going to prove that in this video. I'm just going to let this finish. Give me about another 42 minutes. Excuse me, not 42 minutes, 42 seconds. Let's go. It rhymed.
You say something about Asians, they will shut you down. You say something about Latino, we got to be better at shutting. Damon Dash is on that right now. We got to shut people down as a whole. As a whole, I'm saying.
Okay.
Even if it's like a person we don't really agree with.
You see what that little light-skinned piece of fucking shit tried to do? And I ain't talking about light-skinned as a, oh, he's light-skinned. No, because I got more light-skinned friends around me that's more willing to go amp off with the shit than anybody else. So don't think that that's that. What I'm saying is that fucking light-ass fucking wannabe cracker, because that's what he is, wannabe cracker. I'm not going to hold no punches. The same motherfucker that was going against Vicky Dillard, calling her all kind of shits and names and all this other shit. He's being told about what's being on code, and he couldn't stay on code. He couldn't even accept what being on code is because he wants to fucking go against what being on code is. Do you understand what being on code is? But at the same time, he's looking at this motherfucker like, how can you tell me about what's being on code when you ain't been on code? When you ain't been on code. Let's let these niggas finish. Go ahead.
But if they're part of our community, we got to learn to go, nah, we don't appreciate what the fuck you did. Nah, because we're first to fight each other at a club.
Right, sure.
Where's
sure.
that same energy when
Right.
someone shits on one of our fucking statesmen or elders, man?
So we know what that was, right? We heard what Godfrey said there, right? And then people start calling him out on his off-code tactic of being a part of the Bill Cosby scandal when it came to being a part of the Bill Cosby mockumentary. Why? Because there was no evidence in certain issues in there. It's just other people making it seem like it was. But if there was, he would be in jail. Let's be very clear about that. There has been many of his accusers that admitted to being liars, and everyone just overpass that. Oh no, me too. Me too what? Me too? I'm a part of the oppressor class, me too. I only fight against white men. No too. Did you get that? When I go to talk about what happens to women, oh, it's me too. Okay. But when we talk about what happens to women that's by white men, and it's no two. Don't get it confused because you got a Harvey that got fucking sent to jail or whatever the situation is. Don't get it confused because the Me Too movement was against even Harvey's accusers being brought in to the fold. If I remember one situation correctly, and y'all can look this up, it said that the Me Too movement, the Harvey Weinstein victims and the Jeffrey Epstein victims were not a part of the Me Too movement. Now, the Harvey Weinstein victims, certain victims were a part and certain victims wasn't visually. So yeah, let me make sure I'm saying this on tape. So if anybody try to come and get at me, you try to sue me, I'll sue your whole family and make sure that you'll never be able to do nothing in life. Because all I do is speak facts, what was reported. Because there was a lot of Harvey Weinstein victims too, or Weinstein, whatever the fuck they call it, who decided not to fucking tell not just the whole truth, but not be witnesses to the truth. So tell me I'm lying. Yeah. All right. Let's be clear. So now we have Bill Cosby motherfuckers running around here talking about Bill Cosby as a motherfucker, but still doing it to a white fucking corporation And does that mean he shouldn't have done it if it was real? No, that doesn't mean that. What it means is that there was no evidence, there was proof there was no evidence, and what you did was the same thing that motherfucking HBO did to Michael Jackson. And we're going to talk about that. Let's go.
And gosh, I just did something else and I just can't even freaking remember.
Busy monkey. Yeah.
Which means that he did some shit that not that he can't remember. He was going to say something that he couldn't remember from the script. Let's go.
But oh yeah, no, Showtime. There's a thing on Showtime coming out. It's the Cosby documentary. It's called Let's Talk About Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
And Kamal Bell, who's on the United Shades of America, is producing.
Oh, you mean the same Kamal Bell that was off cold, who sat here, didn't wait until the end of the situation. Really, well, there's a lot of situations coming out showing that Cosby wasn't a person that they made him out to be. But yet, they made him the face of what? Drugs and rape. Drugs and rape. And you included him to be that. Not just you, but Kamal as well. As long as you bring this up as this is a fact situation, your dumbass say shit, whether you know it or not, that hinders everything that we fucking work for. Now, if there's rapists in the culture, yes, it's important for us to call them out. It's important for us to motherfucking put them where they need to be, which is in jail. But when you have discrepancies amongst all the women that sat there and tried to accuse him, when you sit here and have discrepancies against all the men that's being accused against, when there's evidence that's showing that it's not all what we see, but what we're hearing in the media that shows that there is a difference that we need to stand for. We need not to stand for that until we know what's facts. You have just propagated the same thing that at the beginning of the video I spoke about when I was told that I was propagating white supremacy against Asians. It was racist. It was racist for me to say that against them because that's something that white America put out as a dominant race. That everyone has subjected to. But what does it say when it's the people that went through what we went through in this country? What does it say about the people that's claiming that shit when we actually went through slavery, Jim Crow, all the Jim Crow laws, people fucking hanging us, killing our children? Oh my God. Why am I sitting here talking about this right now? Because it's fucking important. Because it's important. Let's go, man, because I can keep on speaking.
And directed it.
Go.
So I shot it before it was about a week before the pandemic in 2020. So that's going to Sundance Film Festival and I'm all up in that. So
Dope.
So got a lot of things coming around, you know what I mean?
Dope. Did you now talk about that? Because Kamal, he comes from a different level sometimes. You never know where he's going to swing. Was it like, I don't want to angle it like a pro or anti-Cosby, but does it kind of go right down the line? How's that documentary shaped if you can't talk about it?
I see everybody shot their stuff separately. So I shot about 4 hours. I was in Brooklyn and because I worked for Cosby. One of my first gigs was warming up the audience for the Cosby Show, which was on CBS, not the old show, the newer one that he did. I did that for like 6 months, audience coordinator, you know what I mean? So it was basically about his career and how his career has ended, you know? And I don't remember what I said, but I'm sure I made sense because I was like, hey, I mean, there's some things that I believe, some things that I don't believe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we got to look at the time frame at which a lot of this stuff occurred. Because Cosby was like, yeah, I gave women drugs. They wanted it. This is the 60s and 70s and 80s. Dude, everybody was open, you
Mhm.
know? And I believe some stuff and some stuff I don't believe. I even heard like I know a friend who actually got harassed by Cosby. Like she never reported him though.
So let me be very fucking clear what just happened here. Now, Godfrey was brought up by Cosby. That wasn't something that was anybody else's doing but Bill Cosby. Now, am I glorifying Bill Cosby? No, I absolutely am not. I don't know what was factual and what wasn't. All I look at is what was factual by law. Okay, say, wait, they did what? O.J. Simpson. Because a lot of people hate that O.J. was supposed to not get a wig, but he got a wig. But here's the thing with Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby is not an O.J. Simpson. Bill Cosby has always been a person who's elevated our people consistently, and it just so happened that all of a sudden that when he wanted to buy NBC, all of a sudden there's several people coming out with situations, not segregation, situations. Which means there was women out there that was fucking with Cosby, getting drugs from Cosby, that was asking Cosby to pay for things, to pay for drinks, just like there are women out here right now. Tell me I'm wrong. There's women right now that believe that if a man won't pay for your drink, if they don't take care of all your needs, A, B, and C, that they are not men. Tell me I'm fucking wrong. Now, here's the difference in what I'm saying right now to what the fuck the facts is. When you get a person talking about he put something in her drink that she wanted, but she didn't know it, he's a rapist. He's a fucking rapist. Now tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm not telling the truth. But the people that select what they fucking walk into, you selected what you walked into. I'm done with dumb people acting as if people shouldn't be intelligent enough to call out dumb people. Should you be dumb enough to fucking say, oh, well, you know, the women's movement says that we should let our daughters just express themselves, and your daughter's only 13 to 14 to 15, 16, 17 years old. They're looking at people who are fucking over 30, who are fucking over 21, and you're letting them motherfucking mimic themselves. Don't talk to me about this shit. This is what we speak on when we talk about black power. Black empowerment is not about fucking ignorance. Oh shit. Not everybody wanted to know the truth. Not everybody want to know the truth. Not everybody want to know the truth. They want to be ignorant. And we're not about to let that shit the fuck happen. Because I'm going to speak the fuck up. Now look, you can talk shit about me. You can say a lot of shit that I say or do probably won't be what you want. But I don't hear none of that shit. I don't hear nobody in that shit. I don't hear nobody that think that they can't say that shit because I'm going to break their ass down with properness. And when I say properness, I'm not talking about like, you know, properness as in speaking. or linguistics. I'm talking about properness as in history, everything that we've been forced to fucking be in. Let's be honest. Oh, yeah. We're not going to go there. And if we do go there, we don't care. And this is why what Godfrey say is a real fucking problem. Because it's something that a lot of people that come into the country don't want to admit to be a problem. Let's see. What's rest?
You know, he was trying to force himself. And she never reported. She never did. And I was like, damn. But I believe there were some women that actually went with it. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, I think that when somebody doesn't get what they want, they go, okay, this person raped me, or this person did this to me, or this, you know, even though they were consensual with the drug taking, with the sexual, you know what I mean? I think it's both ways, because there are women that do get raped. Let's keep that shit 100.
Right.
Men rape women, man,
Mm-hmm.
and get away with that shit, you know? And, you know, and it's sad because I was giving him props on his comedic genius and everything he's done for Black people in television, all the great things he's done for Black people in television. I mean, Cosby literally changed TV, man, for Black people. Like in the 60s, at I Spy in the 60s. He was the first African American to be on a network television show, I Spy. Then he did Fat Albert, first African American cartoon. You know, he had that. Then he was advertising for Jello and Texas Instruments, and then he was on the show called The Electric Company, which was in the 70s with Morgan Freeman. It was a children's show. It was right after Sesame Street. He was doing that, picture pages, education. You know, Cosby was killing it. Like, and you know, he actually sponsored one company, which was in the 70s.
I really love the way that he said, like, it was the first black cartoon. Just saying we got a bunch of fucking black coon that don't do nothing but coon, but want to talk about the fact that they the first blacks. Let's be real. Facts are facts, ain't it? Tell me if I'm wrong. I guess you can't. Okay, come on. Let's go. Let's let him finish.
With Morgan Freeman. It was a children's show. It was right after Sesame Street. He was doing that, picture pages, education. You know, Cosby was killing it. Like, and you know, he actually sponsored one of the first. This guy named Willie T. Ribbs was one of the first like NASCAR race car drivers. You know, in a modern era, there's a documentary of Willie T. Ribbs, and Cosby was a sponsor of that. And yeah, and just for comedy, Cosby was one of the first dudes to be on national TV, crossing over. And Cosby, you know, he influenced Richard Pryor. People don't understand that. Richard Pryor wanted to be like Bill Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So Cosby was a pioneer for decades, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And with Cosby Show,
All right, he just brought something up. I have to stop because I was gonna let him finish until we got to the end of that. But at the same time, I'm gonna be 100 with this shit. You stupid motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Cosby influenced the man that fucking did what he did, and he did all this other shit, and everyone loved him, and all this other shit. Does that mean anything to us? Eddie Murphy don't mean shit. I don't fucking care about Norbit. I don't give a fuck about any fucking way that Eddie Murphy perceives that we should fucking perceive for him. Fuck that nigga. And any real person that's real as a person will say the same damn thing. Fuck that nigga. Fuck Eddie Murphy. Yeah. Coming to America, all that shit. I'll give you your flowers and all that dumb shit because guess what? All those shits, it showed, okay, you did what you did. But what you're doing now is a fuck that dumb nigga shit. You're a fuck that dumb nigga ass. So tell me I'm not telling the truth. Yo, fuck that dumb nigga ass. Do you want me to stop? Do you want me to just stop? It's okay. I will. If everyone wants me to stop. If that's what you choose to be. If that's who you choose to be, okay, cool. And this is what Godfrey is. He's one of those dudes. It's okay. If that's who you choose to be, cool, cool. If not, keep writing. Let's go.
Different world. He changed the landscape of black people going to college. The college matriculation increased when Different World came on. Everybody wanted to go to historical black colleges. People wanted to get into education. He was literally influencing black people and their education, their awareness of how to conduct themselves. And so then you had all this, and then you had the rape shit,
Yeah.
you know. And then we battle whether it's between society not wanting a black man to have power or, you know, taking the person down for committing crimes. It was a battle between, because every time a brother gets into power, there's always some scandal that happens sometimes. You know what I mean? You look at Michael Jackson, like, look at what they did to him. And I don't believe any of the shit that Michael did, ever. I know he didn't touch no kids. I know that.
Right.
No, he didn't touch no children. Bullshit. He has had a lot of juice. Michael, you know, owned half of Sony. He owned the Beatles category, all that. And he was an influence all over the world. And he was calling people out.
Fact.
So
Nigga said, oh God, you the man, Cass. I spit white like a clan mask, and I'm.
So you hear him. You hear everything that he done said. And I apologize because I wasn't able to cut off the shit before I tried to. I got black on my controller. And it was just because of shit. It wasn't moving. And that's why I love my controller. My controller's just like me. If it's not moving, I'm gonna have a problem with what we doing. So it has to be reset. Cool. But what I'm talking about right here is that Godfrey shit that Godfrey didn't realize that was a problem. But yeah, he stood up for. That was him. That was him. Everything that he said, that was his feelings. Not taking into account a lot of the shit that we dealt with was projected. He fucked with motherfucking Bill. He talked about Bill, no problem. How many other people outside of the situation that they talked about? All of a sudden, it's just about him. So you're gonna fill yourself up on it? Okay, no problem. Let's roll. Let's see what it is. All right.
you know, getting advice from Bernie Mac, John Witherspoon, even Seinfeld, even Cosby, who's in jail. You know, don't put it in my booty. Don't. Did you say Rudy? No, in my booty. Please don't. I got 2 more years. Don't put it in my booty. Ooh. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with it. What is he doing concerts in jail? Probably. So the bitch accused me, right? And so I knew the bitch was lying. And all all the other mother prisoners were like, yeah, that bitch lying. See, that's what I hate, man, when bitches be lying. Don't you hate that shit when they accuse you of knocking them the fuck out? Who knows? He might be having shows.
Really? He's in jail. The same person they're supposed to be for us. But they can't see exactly the way that the system was set up against us. They can't see the way that they actually just did things to allow you to act the way that you're acting towards us. Same person. Godfrey. Let's see what else he has to say.
In the lunchroom. I don't fucking know. I hope. I'm waiting for him to get out.
I just want to say this last thing about John Witherspoon. I'm very big about financial planning and financial responsibility. And at the end of our interview, I asked John why he's still working at 77 years old.
What keeps you going all these years?
You
Because
cash, money?
most 76-year-olds would probably be retired by now.
Money. I like that cash. Keep you alive. If I had to get up now, I mean, forget doing an interview like this, if I'll be sitting at home by my waterfall if I didn't come and do this. And now tomorrow I got to drive to Oxnard. I'm working in Oxnard, Oxnard Improv, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So and it's the cash, and to stay alive, you know.
And he goes, man, I love that cash.
Yeah, he does.
And you know, I wasn't making a lot of money before. Now I'm actually making real money. I'm not, I could just sit at home and watch my waterfall all day. But what's the point of that? You got to keep moving. And I dropped him off at his house afterwards, and he lived in a very nice house. He wasn't working because he had to work. He was working because he loved to work.
But see, and go ahead.
So you telling me John Witherspoon, who wasn't paid for Friday, by the way, or didn't get paid what he was supposed to be paid from Friday, by the way, he could stay on code, but you couldn't? Because we all found out what happened with John Witherspoon in the Friday sequels. We knew this. But what you're telling me, they're supposed to be on code? Because, okay. Let's see what he has to say about that shit. I don't want to take away from nobody. I want to be honest. I want to speak truth. I want to be who the fuck I am, because I am who the fuck I am. And you'll love me or not. You'll hate me, or you'll motherfucking be right here beside me, and we're going to fucking fight together. What we going to do? Let's see.
The gang leader formerly known as...
We got to cut that off, because apparently... That's how they do that. Let's go.
He died before he retired. And that's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's a compliment.
Right on.
He died while he was still working because he loved to work.
See, when you're a comedian or you're a musician, you don't stop doing it.
Yeah.
Because you did it because you love it. You got into comedy because you love this shit. That's why when people go, you're just going to be performed to you. Yeah. When you're an old man, comedy's an old man's game. You can be an old dude, you can be a funny old motherfucker and get money? Huh? It's not the same. And listen, I'm not taking anything from people with other jobs at all, because some people love being garbage men. That's them. But garbage men, it takes a lot of effort. It's like physically.
You can't be an 80-year-old garbage man. You just can't.
Right. And if you are, you a bad motherfucker. Be like, you still 80? Damn right. Shit. You're like, that's like rare. But as an old man, like Don Rickles did it till he was old. Joan Rivers. George Burns performed till he was 100 years old. Mort Saul, who's another famous Jewish comedian, old school, he's doing it in his 80s. He's going close to his 90s. Do you understand? Old Seinfeld's in the 60s. Everybody, you're not going to stop doing it because you're going on stage expressing how you feel.
Oh. So Dick Gregory didn't fall into that category, did he? You can sit here and call out all these other white and Jewish motherfuckers are Jewish to be Jew-like. Come at me, goddammit. I'm waiting for a motherfucker to do so. That's why I do this. Anyway, you're so eager to call out everything else, everybody else. But when you go to fucking give big ups, you give up big ups to what? The white folk? Or the people that's considered as white Jews? Seinfeld and all these motherfuckers? Oh. Am I wrong for calling you out? Let's go.
Talking shit, swallowing spit, and going home. Who the fuck gets tired of talking? Because most old people, they sit on the chair and be like this, man, listen, the world's coming to an end. You motherfuckers fucking suck my ass. Imagine doing that, same shit, and getting money for it.
Right. In front of a big audience.
And a bit of like, you all can suck my dick. I'll put my balls in the mouth. What? Yeah. It's not, people go, job. No, it's a lifestyle, man.
Oh, yeah.
Comedy's a lifestyle. Music is a lifestyle for musicians. That's why they play till they play forever. Singers, lifestyle. It's a
But that's not what you said. Okay, go ahead. Let's go.
big difference when it's a lifestyle. It's not some get up, go to work at the factory. No. It's like I get to get up and go talk shit. I get to get up and make fun of motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah.
What?
I mean, I plan on doing interviews into my 70s. I mean, David Letterman's 72.
Did y'all hear what the fuck that goddamn... But people wonder why I have a problem with people that would rather go into Vlad's plantation than to their brother's platform and speak their own mind. He just fucking told you, yo. Let's go.
I'm doing interviews into my 70s. I mean, David Letterman's 72, and he got one of the hottest talk shows right now on Netflix.
He's the best at interviews. He's David.
It's the second best next to me. But
oh, that's true. My bad. Damn. I'm sorry, Vlad. Shit. You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with kissing little ass every once in a while. You the best.
So you heard it yourself. Let's run that back.
You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with kissing little ass every once in a while. David.
It's the second best next to me. But
oh, that's true. My bad. Damn. I'm sorry, Vlad. Shit. You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with kissing little ass every once in a while. You the best.
Shout out to David Letterman.
But yet, we're supposed to just be so motherfucking... Oh, yeah. You're right, Gumphrey. We got your back. Ass niggas. Come on. I ran that back a couple of times for us. Come on. Look at it for what the fuck it is. Come on. Let's just look at it for what the fuck it's supposed to be. Come on. So now we're going to go into Kevin Brown. He's a professor. I want to just look at what Kevin Brown is saying right now. Because we're the Church of the Black Power. The Church of Black Power. We're here to give power. We're not here to sit here and give falsehoods, false realities, or anything like that. Kevin, please speak.
The title of my remarks is going to be on the changing racial and ethnic ancestry of blacks in the United States. And this, to a certain extent, gets to your question about what's the proper term. Is it black? Is it African American? Historically in the United States, there were very few voluntary descendants of Africa who came to the United States. Where the overwhelming majority of us were brought during chattel slavery. However, since the 1960s, we've seen an extraordinary increase in voluntary black immigration into the United States. And this is changing the racial, changing the ethnic ancestry of blacks in the United States. And I want to talk about the implications of that. But there's another trend as well that's occurring at the same time. And that is, once again, historically, if you had one drop of black blood, if any of your ancestors were black going back 5, 6, 7 generations, you were considered to be black. But since 2000, the federal government has changed the definition of what it means to be black. So now if you have parents of a different race, if you have a black-white child, a black-Asian child, they're no longer actually considered black. They fall into sort of a multiracial category or two or more races category. Indeed, the other historical thing was that black people could not define their race. Race was a socially ascribed characteristic. Up to 1960, 99.4% of Americans were either black or white. 99.4%. So with the notion that any person with any black blood was black, you could instantly tell a person's race based on their appearance. But now in 2015, we've had substantial immigration from Latin America, substantial immigration from South Asia, substantial immigration from the Middle East, as well as increases in multiracials. So now it's not easy to tell a person's race based on their physical appearance. So many multiracials, and you'll hear from my son who's a multiracial in a minute, but also light-skinned blacks are being asked by others, what are you? And therefore they have some control over their racial identity. So those are the two themes I want to talk about. So I'm going to start with black immigrants. So can you go to the next slide? Okay. In 1970, only 1.1% of the black population was foreign born. This increases to 4.9% in 1990, to 8.8% in 2010, and actually goes up to 10% in 2012. So right now, 1 out of 10 blacks in the United States are foreign born. Indeed, if you just go to New York, a majority of the blacks you see in New York City are actually foreign born. So you're not actually interacting with African Americans, you're interacting with Nigerians, with Ghanaians, with Jamaicans, with Dominicans. And we're seeing.
You said what? Did you not just say what I've been seeing? What we've been seeing? What it's been seeing? Let's go back and run back.
New York. A majority of the blacks you see in New York City are actually foreign born. So you're not actually interacting with African Americans, you're interacting with Nigerians, with Ghanaians, with Jamaicans, with Dominicans. And we're seeing substantial increases too in black multiracials, that is, blacks with a non-black parent, black-white parentage, black-Asian parentage. Those percentages are set to increase by 80% between 2010 and 2020. So can we go to the next slide? Okay. Here's one of the things that's happening. So if you think about Dr. M. Becker, one of the things Dr. M. Becker thought could lead to an end of untouchability was intercaste marriage. We're now seeing substantial interracial marriage among the black/African American population in the United States. So you can see here in 1970, of all blacks who were married, only 1.1% were married outside of the race. That increases to 2.4% in 1980, 4.1% in 1990, 7% in 2000. In 2010, it increases to 9%. But let me add, this is of all blacks who are married.
You piece of donkey shits. You piece of donkey shits. Tell me we ain't out here running the motherfucking marriages situations. Tell me. Because the other people, marriages is just nothing but a business. For us, it's business, it's religion, it's heritage, it's everything. Let's go.
So younger people, the ones in the prime childbearing ages, are even much more likely to marry across the race. In 2012, for example, 1 in 4 black males that married, 25%, married outside of the race. For black women, it was about 9.3%. And we continue to see that black males are 2 to 3 times more likely to marry outside of the race. So with this substantial increase in interracial marriage, we're now seeing substantial increases in the black multiracial population. So if we take the latest census figures from 2012, you can see there, if you're looking at ages 20 to 24, only about 7.9% of the black population is multiracial. But you see how that increases, so that if we're talking about under the age of 5, almost 20% of blacks are mixed race.
What?
If these current trends continue, within a generation or two, a majority of the black population in the United States will actually be mixed race.
What?
And because they're mixed race, they will more and more assert an identity that's different from that of African Americans.
Okay.
So let me now start to talk about that. There's some very distinct differences between the cultural identity of black immigrants and the cultural identity of African Americans. Black immigrants immigrate to the United States for the same reason everyone else does. They're optimistic about coming to the United States. Their home culture, or their cultures are indoctrinated into them in their home society, not in the United States, and not influenced by the history of the struggle against racism in the United States.
Righteous. So what's the problem?
Indeed.
Tell them.
As I indicated earlier, I have been to Africa 10 times, South Africa 4 times. So when I'm in South Africa, I'm a black immigrant in a country with a history of racism of black people who are not my people. So when I'm in South Africa, I don't see myself as connected to the black South Africans. My concern is for my African Americans back home. And whites interact with me very differently than they interact with native South Africans, black South Africans.
Say it
There's
again.
no history of discrimination against us. We're good friends. We can joke. They don't worry about what they say. I don't worry about what I say. And this is what's going on with black immigrants in the United States as well. They're simply having a very different experience with race than your African Americans. And of course, their percentages are increasing at fairly significant numbers. With respect to black multiracials, the research on the racial identity of multiracials tends to show that black multiracials have a very different racial identity from African Americans. They generally tend to fall into one of 3 kinds. One, they either assert that they're multiracial. Second, that they'll assert that they're black. Or third is that they will assert that they're just simply beyond race. They're non-racial. They don't think about race. They don't consider race.
How many people you heard that? How many people you heard that from? How many people tell you that shit? That you didn't heard all that shit before in that shit. Let's be real honest and shit. Because the honest and shit will make them mad. Screw all of them. Because the truth of the matter is this. Anybody that don't want to tell the truth about the situation and want to be a part of that class, facts are going to be facts. And that's why I took all of that time to play that out from Kevin Brown. I might not agree with everything he never said or everything he never done, but what I do agree with is he's speaking facts on facts on facts right here. That can't be disputed. So, to end off, my brothers and my sisters, we're going to listen to Godfrey speaking in front of other people that I have a problem with, right? But he also spoke highly of our people that I didn't have a problem with. But everything turns into like a teeter-totter. The same money that he called Vlad right out for motherfucking making profit off of, right? All the money that Vlad has accumulated for making profits off of black issues. What is he doing right here? So let's roll.
All right, here we go. Los Angeles, baby. What's up?
Yep.
Hair looking sharp. Motherfucking diamond cuts all day. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm in LA, I still give diamond cuts a shout out. You know what? They have been appreciative. They say, we want to thank Vlad for talking about diamond cuts. People are showing up to diamond cuts, which is, like I said, 614 8th Avenue between 39th and 40th.
What was he doing? What the fuck was he doing in this video? First thing he did was bigging out the white dude. We want to thank Vlad. We want to thank Vlad. We want to thank Vlad. Were they saying these things? Because I don't know you, nigga. Maybe you were saying these things. And the reason why I say this isn't just because he called out one place and said, oh, yeah, Diamond Cuts. They wanted to thank Vlad. They wanted to thank Vlad. Pay attention to his coonery.
You go right upstairs. It's got some of the best barbers from Fire to Yusef to Low to Fee to all of them cats back. They're all dope as hell. And give me a shout out, which is, oh, damn. I had a shout out to my man at TCA.
TCA. What he meant was TSA. So basically what he's saying is, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let you hear it because it needs to be heard. Let's go.
From the TSA, they're also big fans of Vlad. Like, I think it's either at JFK or LaGuardia. Ah, damn. And I was going to say, and I forgot my man's name, but I'm giving a shout out to the TSAs, all the TSA people that watch Vlad. Giving a shout out to you all in the New York airports, the TSA, shouting out love to you guys. So,
see, this is the problem that I have with a lot of people. You're sitting here shouting out this nigga for years. You're building this nigga's fucking platform for years, and you want to sit here and talk about how you have to check the nigga. See, this is what pisses me off. Niggas that just act like they're fucking ignorant to certain things when they know what the fuck they're doing. So, could it be possible that the nigga realized what was going on and said, you know what? I gotta check this nigga. Or could it be possible that he realized that people recognize and realize, because realize the real lies, that you're fucking being a fucking coon? I don't know, but we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna play this shit. And we're going to let you hear it. Let's go.
All right, here we go.
Los Angeles, baby. What's up?
Yep.
Hair looking sharp. Motherfucking diamond cuts all day. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm in LA, I still give diamond cuts a shout out. And you know what? They have been appreciative. They say, we want to thank Vlad for talking about diamond cuts. People are showing up to diamond cuts, which is, like I said, 614 8th Avenue between 39th and 40th. You go right upstairs. It's got some of the best barbers from Fire to Yusef to Low to Fee to all of them cats back. They're all dope as hell. And give me a shout out, which is, oh, damn. I had a shout out to my man at TCA from the TSA. They're also big fans of Vlad. Like, I think it's either at JFK or LaGuardia. Damn. And I was going to say, and I forgot my man's name, but I'm giving a shout out to the TSAs, all the TSA people that watch Vlad.
And I restarted just so you can hear it again. So, all right, so look. I have no problem with this nigga shouting out a supposedly black business. Okay, we're getting more business from the situation. Right? Okay, cool. They're getting more business. Then all of a sudden he goes and starts shouting out the government. Oh, everybody from the TSA, I want to sit there and give love to everybody from the TSA. I want you to know that the TSA is okay. We want to show you love from the TSA. The government party is not a party to be worried about. You should just be giving the dance, the booty shake, and driggity, dra. Like, these niggas is fucking funny. They're fucking hilarious. And here's the thing. I'm sitting here listening and I realize that shit like, what the fuck? What the fuck is he talking about? What the fuck is he talking about? This motherfucker went from celebrating us to celebrating the fucking government system. Oh, the people at the TSA. But even then, how do we know that those people you talking about in the first shout out was even us? I'm not sitting there talking that. I'm just sitting here giving you ways to look at things different. I'm not about to sit here and just, oh, he's black, so you're supposed to support him. When faces like us been motherfucking erased faces like us. And that's on facts. At me. Fight me. I don't give a fuck. I sit here and speak the truth because I don't need to be funded by anybody. There's a huge difference. We keep fucking looking at people. I lock eyes on. Like, I put my crosshairs onto Jay-Z for a major reason. And people just said, fuck it. No, that's Jay-Z. We got to still support him. And I told them what he was going to do with the fucking Knicks. And what he was going to do with anything else that he touched. The NFL came along. Excuse me, not the Knicks, the Nets. The NFL came along. And he did the same thing to those same people that I was sitting there telling them years before. That's why I stopped talking to those people. Fuck if they believe you or not. Fuck them people. Fuck them. Fuck them. Because at the end of the day, your children, they're living by people's doubt, their indecisionness, their inability to just say, I was wrong, you're right, or look something up because of the fear of being wrong and you being right.
All right, here we go.
Los Angeles, baby. What's up?
Yep.
Hair looking sharp. Motherfucking diamond cuts all day. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm in LA, I still give diamond cuts a shout out. And you know what? They have been appreciative. They say, we want to thank Vlad for talking about diamond cuts. People are showing up to diamond cuts, which is, like I said, 614 8th Avenue between 39th and 40th. You go right upstairs. It's got some of the best barbers from Fire to Yusef to Low to Fee to all of them cats back. They're all dope as hell. And give me a shout out, which is, oh, damn. I had a shout out to my man at TCA from the TSA. They're also big fans of Vlad. Like, I think it's either at JFK or LaGuardia. Ah, damn. And I was going to say, and I forgot my man's name, but I'm giving a shout out to the TSAs, all the TSA people that watch Vlad. Giving a shout out to you all in the New York airports, the TSA, shouting out love to you guys. So they're all cool as hell.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
We were actually going to wait a little while longer.
With all that shit that this nigga just sat there and said, oh, shout out to these people. And I also wanted to shout out these people. They want to shout out. All that nigga said was what? That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. If a motherfucker come to me with a bunch of motherfucking people and I speak the truth, I speak the way I speak, I don't give a fuck if you believe me or not. I'm way more intelligent than you will ever believe, and I will fight you, whether in the arena of academics or just physically. Let's go fight. If you don't like me, I don't give a fuck. But what I'm talking about is facts. And facts they will always be facts. And this same motherfucker that you see on the screen just literally and he continuously shows that he don't give a fuck about black people. He don't give a fuck about their plight or anything like that. He's a culture vulture. He got called out on it. He agreed to it. But all you motherfuckers that want to defend this same motherfucker, though. All right. So let's go back here. Let's go.
To do this interview.
Yep.
But some interesting events
Popped up.
have popped up.
You called me.
So we decided
Yeah.
to push it up a little bit.
Right.
And let's talk.
You called me. You called me. You called me. You called me. And this is one of the reasons why I don't know if this motherfucker is being a coon or not, because it sounds like he's being a coon. The motherfucker called you to be a coon. And you agreed to be a coon. And you either agreed or you did. You acted as such, as a coon. Watch all this nigga motherfucking interviews. That means he was called. Ask this nigga how many interviews he was paid for. Ask Vlad how many interviews he pays. Excuse me. Any interviews he pays anybody for. Just answer that question. Ask this nigga that question. Godfrey. I'm just saying. Like, we need to really fucking wake up and really start calling these motherfuckers out because they use that shit against us consistently. And if he's being honest and he's just if he was just gullible, I can just accept that. If he changes the way that he moves and the way that he speaks to be more in the way where it's just what it is, instead of trying to be here, there, and there, here, I would respect that. But as of right now, I don't respect none of that shit. Let's go.
Talk about what that is. So, on September 28th, at around 8:02 a.m., I was thinking about reparations.
Okay.
Okay? And
This should be very good, right? Yeah, let's roll.
I was thinking like, yo, African Americans were brought to this country, stolen into forced labor,
Yes.
forced reproduction,
Yes.
beaten, abused
Yep.
for hundreds of years.
Hundreds.
and walked away with basically nothing.
Nothing.
And you add the Jim Crow laws,
Reconstruction, yeah.
all that bullshit on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I started thinking like, yo, like, why don't African Americans get reparations? Like, this just doesn't seem right. Imagine kidnapping someone in 2019, forcing them to work for free for a bunch of years, and then
building your country and your
building your business,
all of that,
whatever else,
right?
And then letting that person go. What kind of lawsuit would that look like? Woo! Imagine that.
Fuck, man.
Imagine that.
You know what I'm saying?
So I'm like, yo, why are we not seriously talking about reparations? I know there has been talks and so forth, but I've never heard of actual things brought up in Congress or anything else like that. It's always just been talk. So I tweeted, I fully support reparations for African Americans.
Yes. Good sentence.
Yes.
Yeah. And here's the thing. A lot of white people in America will say the same dumbass sentence. I support reparations for African Americans. But then when we get to getting into what reparations is and what it actually means, now everybody is totally against cash payments. When you're paying cash payments to everyone. Everyone. That's not just everyone. It's everyone. That means multiple people that's outside of those people that's outside of those people that probably don't have nothing to do with our people. That's what you promote. That's what you do. Let's go.
Good sentence.
Which everyone had no problems with.
No, here's the second part.
But I added one more sentence.
Here you go.
I said possibly in the form of a free college education.
You see how this motherfucker tried to come in? Bringing his black friend. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about how I sat here and disrespected a whole community, and I want my black friend to stamp a rubber stamp on me and say, well, that's not what he meant. And I'll let you tell me I was wrong, and you can stamp me with the that's not what he meant stamp as a black man, and I'll appreciate that as I speak to what my real goal is. Let's continue.
All hell broke loose.
You fucked up, Vlad.
All hell broke loose.
You fucked up, Vlad. You fucked up. Black people didn't like that. You fucked up, Vlad. So what you do is you have the black friend that comes in with the mask cover and say, okay, well, here's where you fucked up. But then he goes off and he goes and he nullifies everything that the black man is saying by fucking explaining why he feels the way he feels, which is all about white supremacy. White supremacy isn't about facts. It isn't about knowledge. It's about what people feel, apparently. And they protect feelings, apparently. So, that's one thing. But also, as much as he goes off, he doesn't go off on Vlad on his own platform. Let's go.
Thousands of comments, thousands of retweets, thousands of likes, reaction videos. Mm-hmm. And I got introduced for the first time to a group called ADOS.
That's the African descendants of slaves?
ADOS. American Descendants of Slavery. He brings up Antonio Moore, which was one of the founders. He brings up articles and information and all this other shit. But yet, on code don't look like this. Does this look to be on code? He was sitting here talking about all this shit in the fucking interview I showed you previously. Did he seem on code there? Matter of fact, before we continue,
Letterman, man, he's dope.
David Letterman's fantastic.
Yep.
we're gonna replay that shit.
Getting advice from Bernie Mac, John Witherspoon, even Seinfeld, even Cosby, who's in jail. Don't put it in my booty. Don't. Did you say Rudy? No, in my booty. Please don't. I got 2 more years. Don't put it in my booty. Ooh, I don't know.
Does that seem on code? Does that seem on code to you? Does that seem on code? The perfect one.
It's the Cosby documentary. It's called Let's Talk About Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
And Kamal Bell, who's on the United Shades of America, it produced and directed it. So I shot it before the.
Another nigga that's off code consistently that sits here and disrespect the black man and woman any goddamn chance he get. Let's go.
It was about a week before the pandemic in 2020. So that's going to Sundance Film Festival, and I'm all up in that. So got a lot of things coming around, you know what I mean?
Dope. Did you now talk about that? Because Kamal, he comes from a different level sometimes. You never know where he's going to swing. Was it like, I don't want to angle it like a pro or anti-Cosby, but does it kind of go right down the line? How's that documentary shaped if you can't talk about it?
I see everybody shot their stuff separately. So I shot about 4 hours. I was in Brooklyn.
Which I can confirm too. Most people that does productions on films, they usually, whenever they do like some sort of, if it's a documentary especially, whenever they do a recording of a fucking person that's supposed to be a part of that film cast or that documentary, excuse me. A lot of the times what they do is if that person can't get to them, they will fly out to them personally. And then what they would do is circle everything around them in certain ways. So it's shot in a way where it isn't always you're in the same studio and you guys are all talking with each other and you can confirm what's real and what isn't and all this other stuff. It usually don't happen that way. Now, that being said, that does not take away from the fact that a person telling a lie and being able to have multiple lies just floated throughout the community without you sitting there stopping yourself and saying, maybe this shouldn't be something I do for a person that brought me into the game. Maybe I should look into this person because who else was in that? Like, were there any other people that he actually dealt with on the day-to-day? So I'm like kind of confused by a lot of scenarios right now. Who are you? And who are we? If we can get you to just go ahead and say, well, I was a person that was supposed to bring balance. I felt like if I didn't speak up for him, they would have railed him even worse. No. You decided to be a part of something, take the money for something. Because whether they railed him or not, you wasn't going to be able to stop that. That's just a fact. Let's go.
And because I worked for Cosby, one of my first gigs was warming up the audience for the Cosby Show, which was on CBS, not the old show, the newer one that he did. I did that for like 6 months, audience coordinator. You know what I mean? So it was basically about his career and how his career has ended, you know? And I don't remember what I said, but I'm sure I made sense because I was like, hey, I mean, there's some things that I believe, some things that I don't believe, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we got to look at the time frame at which a lot of this stuff occurred. Because Cosby was like, yeah, I gave women drugs. They wanted it. This is the 60s and 70s and 80s. Dude, everybody was open, you know? And I believe some stuff and some stuff I don't believe. I even heard like I know a friend who actually got harassed by Cosby. Like she never reported him though. You know, he was.
You see what I'm saying? Pay attention.
Trying to force himself. She never reported. She never did. And I was like, damn. But I believe there were some women that actually went with it. You know what I mean? And a lot of times I think that when somebody doesn't get what they want, they go, okay, this person raped me, or this person did this to me, or this, you know, even though they were consensual with the drug taking, with the sexual, you know what I mean? I think it's both ways, because there are women that do get raped. Let's keep that shit 100.
Now, it's funny that he waits until Cosby is out of jail to try to come out and do this interview. When people were sitting here talking about he was playing both sides of the field because he was blaming Cosby and all this other shit. He was in Cosby's motherfucking documentary, or the documentary against Cosby as a sexual predator. But yet, when we have these people who are white that are out here being sexual predators, a lot of people don't even speak up about them. And we ain't even got to talk about black people. We ain't just talking about Gunfrey or anyone else. But all I'm saying is, there's a lot of people that Gunfrey has been around that he has not caught the fuck out. You see what I'm saying? This is what the truth of the fucking matter is. These people do certain things, and then they sit here and speak like this.
Exactly. Right. ADOS. Yes. And one of the founders of the group started responding to me, Antonio Moore.
What did he say? What did he say?
Tone Talks.
Antonio Moore, what did he say? What did he say? Because he knows that the grassroots have been popping, especially whether it's FBA or ADOS. All you got to do is look at those things up, hashtag, look up those whole mindsets of what they represent. If you don't get that bitch ass nigga, and I call him a bitch ass nigga, Talib Kweli, I call him a bitch ass nigga for many reasons. Because I call him out on his bullshit. And since I'm a part of ADOS, he tried to say that I was xenophobic, not knowing that my mother's side of the family is from Central America. So how am I xenophobic when I'm telling you it is not about black, white, or anything like that? It's lineage. Lineage. It's all about lineage. So if your people didn't build this country that made the wealth in this country, don't tell the people that built this country that they're being xenophobic for wanting specific policy for the people that built this country. All of a sudden, that's xenophobic. He got me kicked off Twitter. When I was put back on Twitter, they allowed me out of Twitter jail. I spoke to how he got me kicked off Twitter. Because he's a bitch-ass motherfucker. Had all his people come at me and get me banned. But I didn't give a fuck. So when they banned me again, I took everything that he said and I posted it. Took pictures, snapshots, posted it. Because he's a bitch-ass motherfucker that only give a fuck about what literally the Democratic Party tells him to stand for with his stupid ass. Fuck Talib. That's on me. Fight me if you got a problem. At me if you want to debate me. This is what I'm saying. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of these people. I'm tired of everyone coming in trying to make it seem like people are racist when they don't have power. People are prejudiced where we sitting here trying to make sure we just indicating who deserve what's what in the country. Because if I go to anybody else's country that has slavery and say, hey, they had slavery here, I deserve this, I deserve that, they're going to laugh. They're going to laugh. Let's go.
At Twitter. I think his first response was, this country owes us north of $7 trillion. The free education isn't reparations. Ados101.com. I don't think everyone understands. Ados should be elite in America and own our own media, cable lines, and resources.
Yes.
So, we started going back and forth a little bit.
Right.
I said, okay, that's a good point. So take the population of Black Americans, 42 million, multiply by the total tuition cost of a university, 100,000, and you get 4.2 trillion total reparations. There's your multi-trillion-dollar debt right then and there.
That's one part of it.
That's one part of it.
So you see, first thing this motherfucker did wrong in that whole scenario, instead of listening, he tried to take the shit and equate it to what he wanted reparations to be. Let's be very fucking clear. We're built. Excuse me. Okay. Let me calm down. Excuse me. We built every fucking thing in this country. The White House, the colleges. Colleges own slaves. The North owns slaves, and everywhere around this fucking continent owns slaves and tried to keep slaves, even when slaves were supposedly free. Native Americans. So, free college should be a given because most of those slaves were assets for a lot of colleges that survived to be around to this fucking day. But we're supposed to fucking take free education as reparations, trillions of dollars. You're stupid in the fucking head. Not just that. Not just that. Not just that. But look at, we built trillions upon trillions of dollars that would have been trillions upon hundreds of trillions of dollars today. And everyone else is gaining access to those trillions upon trillions of dollars, except the people whose blood, sweat, and tears created the equity that built the trillions upon the trillions of dollars. I don't understand this. Someone come and tell me. How the hell is he talking about something that this goddamn motherfucker person here don't understand? How? How is this motherfucker talking about any goddamn thing at all? You're trying to have an argument with Antonio Moore that actually brings statistics to the table. Because I'm white and I say so. I feel this is what it should be. Bitch, it ain't up to you. And I don't give a fuck how many people in America feel the same way you feel. It ain't up to them. It's an atonement. And all those people are here because of the fact that the America was built off of our fucking backs. And you must atone. You must pay what the fuck you owe. Let's go. Let's listen to what the fuck this dumbass had to say.
And, so he kind of he sort of brushed that aside, said, "Oh, well, what you seem to be is just talking. This isn't selling CDs, and we."
No, he didn't brush it to the side. All you gotta do is go look that shit up and see what the fuck Antonio Moore told this nigga. Go.
We have experts who calculate this and so forth. And I responded, and he responded, and a million other people responded and called me a white supremacist and a culture vulture and, the devil and, I'm a secret agent and blah, blah.
Where's the lie? Where's the lie? Yeah, everyone called me. Millions of people hit me and say I was a millions of us. Millions. Okay.
Blah, 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 blah,
Right.
blah. Here we are.
Yeah.
And before you say what you say,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you the reasoning behind what I said.
Okay.
Okay? And that is this. And I looked up the numbers beforehand. Right now, in America, 70% of the population is against cash reparations to African Americans, to descendants of slaves.
Of course.
You throw in the fact that out of that 70%, 15% of those people are black who are probably for reparations, and you're dealing with 82% of non-African American people in this country against reparations in cash, in terms of a cash.
Yeah.
How many people in America was for reparations to the Japanese? How many people was for a hate crime bill for the so-called Asians in America plus an Asian crime bill? How about the people that got an indigenous American crime bill when they wasn't even asking for it? How about all these people that was talking about actually benefiting things that they never fucking received, and it was given to everybody else just as a slap in the face? Because what we found out is that it doesn't matter what the rest of America fucking talks about or feels. When they say they're going to do something, they fucking do it without you even fucking asking for it. Tell me I'm wrong. Look at policy. Tell me I'm wrong. And see, we're not going to go too much longer on this because we're already 3 hours and 15 minutes in about. And I'm going to give you about 15 minutes more of this. But I'm going to let you hear the rest of what he said. And I'm going to cut it off after that. But what I'm saying in this, well, not the rest of what he said, but I'm going to give you the meat and let you spin out the bones. Sometimes this nigga seems confused. But at the same time, none of it seems confused. It seems like he wants us to be confused. So if he's for us, each and every one of us have to make sure that he is standing in accountability for what we're speaking about. Let's hear this nigga.
Form. This is why it's gone nowhere.
Of course.
When 80-something% of the country is not for something, it's not even going to make it to Congress. There's not even going to be a vote. Everyone in the majority is against this. Now, Georgetown University recently recognized that they made some of their money in the slave trade. I guess there was a point where the company was about to go out of business. They owned a bunch of slaves. They sold those slaves in order to fund the university.
All of these motherfuckers did that. They all built the slaves built all these fucking universities.
They built the White House.
White House, Harvard University, all Harvard,
shit.
I think, has a statue dedicated to the slaves that worked on the goddamn campus. Yeah.
So Georgetown University actually is now attempting to locate the descendants of those particular slaves,
right,
and offering them free tuition.
That's great.
Okay. The way I look at it is, as someone who's college educated, my life would not be remotely as successful if I didn't have a college education.
Right.
Statistically, someone who has a college education versus someone who has a high school education will make $1 million more during the course of their lifetime. During the course of their life.
Right.
Lies. Fucking lies. Look at all the people with motherfucking degrees, college educations, and all this shit that they're sitting there playing with you. Like, yeah, if you get this, you'll be 100% better. And then you go into debt and people are sitting there who are fucking congressmen and politicians and all this other shit talking about shit needs to be forgiven because even their own shit is in the hundreds of fucking thousands. Don't play. Don't play. Don't play. See, this is the issue. We get people that want to sit here and be up these motherfuckers' asses, not do nothing for us, but then want us to support them so that it can be up their asses so that they can sit here and talk about like they're for us, but really they're just up their asses, and the only thing that they're trying to push is something that benefits them because they're not really getting any money for being up their asses. These are the facts. We 3 hours in, and I'm not about to hold no punches because y'all been holding on if y'all been holding on here for these hours. I ain't been sitting here holding no punches thus far. So now, why hold any more? We know. So we gonna let this nigga Godfrey finish, and I'm gonna finish what I have to say, and we out.
Would I love every black person in this country to get $1 million check and 100 acres of land? Absolutely. Are they owed that amount? 100%, if not more.
Right.
Is that ever going to happen? When you're talking about tens of millions of people? No.
Tens of millions of people, mainly whites.
No. What I'm saying is
tens of millions of people, of black people.
Black people.
Okay.
Who would get that?
See, the race is showing right through what he's saying. The racism showing right through that whole face. For tens of millions of black people, is that really gonna happen? But yet, you done seen over this coronavirus bullshit how trillions upon trillions of dollars just went nowhere to everybody but to no one. Don't fucking play with us. Don't fucking play with us. This stupid motherfucker tried to play with us. Fuck Vlad. Let's finish up. I'm pissed the fuck off. I have to be. Because my passion speaks to who I am as a black man, as a person who understands the black plot in America. And for anyone to fight against our stance and then go to people like him who clearly shows every time he speaks about us, he's fighting against our stance. They can't tell me that they don't fucking know what's going on. Are you fucking just stupid, ignorant in life? Let's go.
Yeah.
It would bankrupt the whole country.
It would bankrupt the whole country. But for the people that built the country to make you their fucking money.
Yeah.
You understand? You know, all of a sudden now you worried about being bankrupt when you spend trillions of dollars on defense.
Mind you, this is October 29th, 2019. Coronavirus hit right after in December. The first case is December of 2019. After which, we got to see everything that this motherfucker was lying about show itself to be a lie. Tell me I'm lying.
Trillions of dollars on unnecessary bullshit. Trillions of dollars to send black men, especially to jail. Trillions of dollars to drug the fuck up our whole country. trillions of dollars to fuck the food up, to fuck the air up, to fuck the water up, trillions of dollars to make people sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker in this country, but you mad? We don't have the money because, and this is what I think, and this is what I believe, you just don't like black people. Plain and motherfucking simple, you do not like black people. It is very obvious. For hundreds of years, we've been the most hated. The most, right? The most hated. But within that hatred comes the hypocrisy of loving our culture. You've made trillions off of our motherfucking culture. You know that. You've made money off our culture. Let's be.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. So Vlad was called out by the same coon that he had on this show. And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes people don't know. But a lot of the times, people do know. And they don't speak up for us. They don't speak up for the people that's telling everyone so that they can know. They speak up for their pockets for a majority of the time. So now, knowing that this shit would get a soundbite, because they spoke to each other before this shit started, as this interview said. You see the interview title right there on the screen. If you want to go look it up, you can. He said, you called me. Because he knew what was going to get a soundbite. This was at the time that ADOS and Vlad were literally sitting there going at each other. And we called him out for being the culture vulture that he's always been consistently. Antonio Moore even did a whole show about it. Not even just that. I think TVA did a whole show about it. I believe even fucking a doctor, Professor Truth. Professor Truth. Yeah, Professor Black Truth. Whatever. Everybody did a show about it, for what I understand, about this motherfucker literally being a culture vulture. Whether it was about, are they added in the ADOS or anything that had to do with it, but being on code is still being able to sit here and call that shit the fuck out. But we also need to be on code with each other to make sure that, okay, if we can sit here and talk about what we don't agree with each group about when it comes to each other, we also need to be able to be honest with each other and say, not everybody that you support is correct just because you put money in their pockets. Let's be honest about it. Just because you believe in the rhetoric that they're speaking on, because politically it's easy to speak on anything that has to do with the black community and people really understand because it's true. You can sit here and say, goddamn, police be cracking our heads against the wall. Everyone would agree with that. You could say black people have a problem paying their bills overall. People would agree to that because black people are 50% of the homeless population within the United States. It's easy to call out a problem that black people go through that created this, that built this. What's harder is calling those people out for those policies that tend not to be for those same people. Much love to everybody. The doors of the church, we're closing. Because I can go for hours upon hours. I can do 5 to 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours. It's not just about talking. It's just conversating. It's just discussing the problems that's disgusting to our community. And I love you all, just like I'm sure you love us. You want us to be in the right positions, but we have to be able to call people like this out. People that don't freaking act on code, but want to talk about people that's off code. He want to sit here and act like he checked Vlad and all this other stuff when, for years, he's been on Vlad. I just pulled one video, and that was the most positive one that I really wanted to pull because I don't want to speak bad about black people like most people tend to act towards black people. I want to show the positive thing that you did say because I spoke about all the things you did wrong. But we need to be able to do that. The doors of the church are now closed.